Now we want you to share with us our latest and greatest dream. A place of hopes and dreams, facts and fancy, all in one. That's it, right here. Disneyland.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Way of Magic podcast. I'm your co-host Steve, and of course, my good friend over there, Armando. Back to tell you guys about some Disney news and give you some of our. We got a lot of stories this week too, so we've got that. And we've got later on in the show, we're going to be doing our top 10 favorite or top 10 best Disney attractions, Disneyland attractions. So we got that. But how are you doing? How are you doing, Armando?
I'm good. How about you?
You doing I'm good. Yeah. I'm glad that this week we got some news.
Yeah.
'Cause I was nervous. It's been kind of dry.
Disney
past couple of
appears
days.
to be gracing us each and every week now.
Yeah.
They were like, you guys started this, and we're gonna give you guys something to talk about. I'm sorry. I feel like did my camera go out of focus?
For like a second, it looked like it did.
I don't know. I'm so sorry about that. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's not focused.
That is.
I don't know if I made it work.
That's so weird.
Ow. It's bear with us with technology. I'm sorry.
It'll pop in probably.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right as we're saying goodbye, it'll come back into focus.
Probably.
Alrighty. Well, do we want to get into the news? We got a lot.
We do have a lot, actually. Yeah, a couple topics here.
I think this one is probably this is a big news. I found this was just really interesting. So I think it was today. Now it's back.
Yeah.
So Walt Disney Imagineering, the design and development branch of the parks and resorts, the people that design and build all the attractions and parks and things. Obviously, I don't know why I'm telling people this. They know that, but there's a little bit of a mix up or a switch up in the leadership over there. And Bruce Vaughn, the Imagineer who was the head of Imagineering back in 2016, he left in 2016. He's going to be coming back as Chief Creative Officer, and he's going to be coming back March 20th. And what's interesting is he's sharing the role with the current president of Imagineering. I forgot her name, Barbara Boza, and she's an architect and was chosen after Bob Weiss, who was the old head of Imagineering after he retired. So she's been running it, and now they're bringing Bruce Vaughn. And this is significant because he left. Bruce Vaughn left in 2016 because of Chapek. Because Chapek was
right. Yes. Yeah. He was
making
changing everything, and yeah.
And Bruce Vaughn he's been in Imagineering since 2007? No. Yeah. 2007, I believe. And he worked in R&D and worked in story development, stuff like that, and then was the head. He oversaw, as the head of Imagineering, he oversaw New Fantasyland and Walt Disney World, Pandora, was involved with Cars Land. So,
which are all great lands, by the way.
All great lands, yeah. Ironically, he left in 2016. What came after 2016? Toy Story Land. We won't talk about that in Pixar Pier. But this is kind of interesting, kind of turn of events.
Yeah.
Barbara Boza. I want to make sure I get her name right. She was Chapek's pick, and so this is kind of interesting that we got Bruce Vaughn coming back. Boza was more because she worked for Gensler, which is an architecture firm, before she came to Disney, and she was more on the financial side and the project management stuff.
Which I feel
and
like
Bruce Vaughn is
most people that he picks are
more business centric.
Yeah.
And Bruce Vaughn's more creative, and so we'll see how that works. But I don't know if you've ever seen like some of the Disney documentaries they did around that time. He always is in them. He was in the Modern Marvels about Walt Disney World. He's in there.
I'm sure once I actually if I actually like saw it, like if I saw it, yeah, I'm sure I'd be like, oh yes,
Yeah.
I'm sure I'd know, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So that's, I mean, that's big news.
it
Let's hope
is.
that that's
Hopefully it brings in some good stuff, you know. Because I mean, Cars Land and Pandora, there's pinnacle lands. I mean, you step in. I mean, I haven't been to Pandora. I know you have, but you step into Cars Land and you're like, dude, this is like ripped right out of the movie. This is crazy.
yeah,
So,
it's and he just has that kind of ability that
mhm,
he knows what guests want, and he knows what the creative people want to do.
yeah,
So I think it's a great option or a great return.
definitely.
But yeah, maybe Tom Staggs will be coming back. I don't know. I know Josh
With the
Tomorrow
gang
will be
back
there for a
together.
long time.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. So hopefully this is a positive thing. We've got a lot
hopefully.
of it's kind of been stagnant, I feel. Imagineering's just kind of there's just
Well, they were
nothing.
supposed to do that whole. They were supposed to remember they were supposed to change headquarters to Florida, but that got put on hold. And I think they said was resuming. I think I could be wrong, but I feel like I heard that or something.
That they
Um,
were gonna. I don't know. Yeah, they
that was put on hold
from
because
what
I think it was
it's.
supposed to be this year, right? They were supposed to
Yeah, the first
move
one.
like when it before they put it on hold. It was supposed to be this year.
Yeah, now I think it's. I would be shocked if they go through with it because it was such. I mean, they lost so many people that just left
Yes, yeah.
because of that whole
I
mess.
mean, it was
So
before the pandemic too, when they were like when they announced it, planning
yeah,
it too. So
and yeah, so I think that's probably gone. That's probably done.
I'd imagine
I
so.
think. Yeah. But this will be interesting. We'll
Yeah,
see what happens from it. I think it's interesting that they brought him back. I really am. I don't know. That must have been something that to get
yeah,
that call if you're him. Because I don't know what he was doing the past 5 years or something.
yeah. That's yeah.
6 years.
You'd have to wonder.
Yeah.
So
So
we'll see.
that's cool. That's cool. So what do you got?
Well, we have. Um, have you gotten? Let me start that over. Ah, sorry. The Centennial Park. Have you heard of it?
I have. I have. I
Centennial Park.
yeah.
Uh,
That's it's pretty old, huh? It's a
Pretty old
yeah.
park.
Oh,
Very punny. Which is on brand, I guess, with Toontown.
yeah.
Especially with the El Capitan Theater. But they
A lot of
installed
tunes.
a lot of tunes. They installed the Mickey and Minnie fountain on top of that Centennial fountain.
Yeah.
The picture, you mentioned looked a little. You were unsure about it.
Yeah, it's I'm pulling it up
Is it the
right now. It
posing?
was yeah,
Just
yeah,
not
and it's
really.
also not that, and I know that people are not going to like the style because it's the new
It's the new one, yeah.
new style.
You
But
know, I was on one of those like, it's a picture, right? I have to see it in person to kind of actually
right,
get the full thing. Because like same thing with the El Capitan Theater, you see it in pictures. It doesn't do it justice.
true, especially at
That's
night.
yes, that's something you have to actually
Yeah,
see in person to like be like, wow, this was like actually done like very well and very you can tell was with care and like vision.
yeah. And you know what? I think I know why I'm not sold on it, and that's because the fountain that was there before was like this bronze. It looked like a statue
Yeah, yeah.
that you would see in a park. This one looks like
It's a cartoon.
right. Yeah. I guess that's it. I guess that's it. So,
Because it's not very
but
it's I mean there's nothing it's not like it's a platinum like for Centennial it's not like it's a platinum
right.
statue or anything. It's literally just it's Mickey and Minnie, in their
You know.
colors, and they're just put on a fountain. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I have to see. I think the water. I'm unsure of where the water's coming out of. I think it's supposed to come out of the water fountain, like
I
I
think so.
mean
Yeah.
the watering can that she has, but I don't know if because then that would only kind of be like one sided. It wouldn't be spitting out. So
Right.
I don't know
Yeah.
where the
So I
water's
wonder
supposed
if
to come out.
I wonder if there's more. I know there's concept art for it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm overall though, they've done a good job of what they've done so far.
yeah. I'm
So
impressed. I'm
I have
impressed with
confidence that yeah.
what's done
I
with
think
it.
once I see it, it'll kind of
Yeah, for sure, for
it'll
sure.
go. Yeah.
Because that was the same thing with me with the El Capitan Theater.
Mhm.
It was kind of like we saw it, and then I was like, oh, this thing's kind of massive. This thing's kind of cool. So yeah, I think it's one of those things you have to actually see in person,
Yeah.
and then kind of be like, yeah, they hit it, or should have been in the concept art. Should have left it in the
Yeah.
concept art.
And they've done a good job of blending the kind of the new animation style with
With the
the
old,
old stuff and
yeah,
blending it really well. So
th-
I think it'll probably look good
yeah. That's
with
something you
everything.
can tell. That's something that you can tell they actually thought about for sure. They were like, we have to actually do this right. This can't just be old new.
Yeah.
It's got to be
Yeah, yeah. Because then it will
different.
look
So,
really noticeable.
oh yeah.
So
I mean, with the new paint jobs and everything, that looks fine. So
yeah, no, I'm excited about that.
definitely.
So,
But
so
the next one though, I believe. What do you got for the next one?
next one, do we want to? I guess we'll stay in Disneyland for a
Good.
quick minute and
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about uh Catal and Uva Bar closing.
yeah. Yeah, places I never got to eat
So,
at.
I know, and it's such a shame too, because I mean, Uva Bar was really good. That was one of my
Really?
go-tos. They're closing in on April 9th.
That's
That's gonna be the
soon.
last day.
Yeah.
It is soon, yeah.
Have to be
Catal's
able to
gonna
eat
be,
though. But
yeah, good luck getting a reservation
yeah,
now, because you could always get a Catal reservation, and now that they've announced this, I guarantee it's gonna be
we'll see.
forget about it.
Yeah.
But they're gonna be replacing them with um Catal's gonna become Paseo.
Yeah, I think that's the Mexican fusion, I believe, right?
Yeah,
The Mexican fusion restaurant
and
that's going
then
there.
yeah, and then the bar Uva Bar is gonna be turned into Centrico.
Hmm.
I think
I
so.
don't know if that's part of that as well.
I think so because the Uva Bar shares the kitchen
With
with
Catal,
Catal.
yes, I know
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
so I think those are gonna be the two things. But that whole area is just getting
I mean, yeah, the home store
freshened up.
just got ripped out of there as
Homestead.
well, so I think that's probably going to
Yeah.
be an entrance to um the what was it called?
Oh,
The
Paseo or
Paseo?
the
Yeah.
Catal. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think that's
yeah.
gonna be the entrance to that probably, but yeah, it's a shame to see that go, man. I was
Kind of, yeah.
never got to eat there, and I
Yeah.
it look. I mean, I don't know if it was a little pricey. It wasn't cheap food.
No, it was. I mean, you got what you.
Paid
Yeah,
for.
I mean, you got what you paid for some things. My
Sounds like
girlfriend, we
Disney.
went. Yeah, exactly. You really have to know what you're gonna get
Yeah.
because my girlfriend got the paella,
Hmm.
and the paella was. I mean, I don't remember exactly how much it was, but it was way too much for what you were getting
Is it
because it
small
was like,
portions?
uh, it's not really, but it's not enough.
Just the quality.
Just yeah.
Mm,
So it tasted
I
good,
feel you.
but so she got the one with shrimp, and it
Yeah.
came with four shrimps, and it was a full on skillet, but I was like, that's not worth. I
No.
want to say it was like 40 something dollars. I want to say it was like 40 something or something. But I got the steak, and the steak was good, and that was worth the price. But I mean, if you want to really
The
spend the
steak
money, go over
was.
to
I've seen the price of the steak. It's
yeah.
not cheap steak.
But it was cooked really well. So I was like, I can
Is
I
it cooked
can
one way,
justify it.
or you're able to like choose medium rare, like your
Yeah,
meat?
you can choose it any
Okay.
way you want. Yeah, because I always get my steaks medium well, just because I like because if you get it well done, it's jerky.
Hmm.
You might as well just be eating stuff. But you know, but so until then, you're gonna have to go to Naples and stuff. And I know we were talking a little bit off camera, but
Hmm.
what's this gonna do for
Tortilla
Tortilla
Joe's.
Joe's
So I've
next door?
heard that, and I don't know if it's true or not. I'm pretty sure this is true, but I heard that that's also going as well. I don't know again if there's truth to that or not. But I've heard that. I don't know what that would become because I don't think there is any plans because um yeah, because I'm poor because we know Portos isn't going anywhere in downtown Disney. Well, I guess technically it is downtown Disney, but it's not. It's
Oh, where
going. Yeah, where Earl of Sandwich is currently right
Earl
now.
of Sandwiches, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if you
come
could.
on.
I don't know if you could call that downtown Disney.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
the outskirts.
Yeah.
It always was a weird, like when it was Brea Bakery, it was always in a weird spot. It always
Yeah.
felt like it was a bottleneck right there. And they always had cast members trying to get you to come in, and it was not, it should
It's
have been a better spot
that
given the
that spot
climate.
like right now is just kind of like a limbo for like, because I think where Walt Disney is, I think that would constitute as started
Mhm.
downtown Disney. I'd imagine.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
like the yeah.
yeah, so that's like a limbo spot right there. I don't know, but so that's where Portos is gonna go. So I don't know what that would become if that is
Yeah,
moving.
and it's a giant. I mean,
It's a big
Tortilla
building.
Joe's is a giant building,
You can see
and
it
just
when you're
like
driving past. If you
Mhm.
just keep going on, I think Harbor, or is it?
Oh, Disneyland Drive
Yeah, or yeah, that's this Design
or
Drive.
yeah, Design Drive.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you keep going there, you can see it because you can see the Lego store and Tortilla Joe's. Those are the buildings that stick out because they're pretty
Mhm.
massive buildings. So
And that Jeff Brennan's
Jazz,
sign there, the Jazz
yeah.
Kitchen saxophone, which they better not touch.
I don't know if
I took
I don't think it was there in the concert part.
I took a bunch of pictures of it just in case,
That's
because
fine. That's
that
smart.
from for me as a kid, like downtown Disney, that was where we always got the beignets, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember seeing we
Jazz
would
Kitchen
eat dinner at
Express. Yeah.
Tortilla. Yeah, we would go there for dessert, and we'd eat at Tortilla Joe's,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's what's so weird is that downtown Disney has these restaurants are giant,
Mm-hmm.
like they're really big buildings, and so to get any restaurant to replace them would be uh kind of a, I mean, you need a big popular restaurant
Yeah, and
to
I
fill that
again,
in.
if it's true that it's leaving, I don't know what would replace that.
Yeah, I don't know
Unless I
either.
guess you put Catal back there, maybe. I don't know, but I don't think
Yeah,
that's the case.
I don't know. Catal has got the same kind of um like following
As
that
Tortilla Joe's.
something a Tortilla Joe's
Yeah,
would
because
have.
I mean
Yeah,
they got good food there.
Tortilla
It's
Joe's. Yeah,
delicious food.
it is. And
So
it's you have I mean, Southern California. There's so many great like Mexican restaurants you could go to just within
yeah,
quick walk of Disneyland. So the fact that it is good is, that's
yeah, I'm
that's
not.
what you want. So I
Yeah,
hope it's not going away.
I
I
don't know.
know
Yeah,
that I know this new place is going to be very expensive, very foo-foo and stuff.
well,
So
Mexican fusion doesn't have a nice. I don't know. I've never been to a Mexican fusion restaurant. I don't think so. I don't know what you would serve at a Mexican fusion place. So yeah, to me, a Mexican fusion place doesn't sound too appealing. But that's just me personally. I'm sure there's someone out there who's probably like, I've waited for this my whole life. Um,
yeah,
so I
yeah.
don't
Well,
know.
maybe yeah. I'm more excited about the restaurant coming down a ways that is it Vietnamese? Is it
It's
what
yeah.
is it's Asian fusion, right?
It's an Asian. I think it's Asian fusion, or I think it's actually a chain. What is it? It's a because they announced it at D23
Right.
when we
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
there. It's Portos and
And
something else. I think it's big one.
yeah.
Fugu du Chao, I think it's yeah.
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
Fugu
yeah,
du
that
Chao.
sounds about
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah,
that's what's going down there. Yeah.
yeah. So
Uh,
I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what they're gonna do with Rainforest though. So
oh, you mean the Star Wars trading outpost? You mean the
yeah,
Star Wars
yeah,
trading
start.
outpost?
Yeah, sorry, sorry. The secret, the super secret temple of
uh,
the Jedi.
I mean, I give them props for turning that into that. That was a
Yeah,
good
that
idea.
was. Yeah,
But yeah, no, that building is um vacant. I've let's just say I've been able to be in that building. Um, it's empty. They still have remnants of kitchen in there.
I would imagine.
Yeah, the kitchen's still there. Yeah, they use it for other stuff. Um, but yeah, it's pretty barren there. So they could do something with it. I just don't know what.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. There's so much land there, and these buildings are so big, but there's just not enough use for them
Yeah,
you're not getting the most bang for your buck. Disney's not for having these buildings here that just don't have anything,
yeah.
you know.
So
So
we'll see. But
yeah,
you know, Rip Catal.
yeah, I don't know.
It was well lived.
It was there for a while. I think
It was.
it's the last, with the exception of Tortilla Joe's, it's the last opening day restaurant. Well, no, I guess Jazz Kitchen's been there, but it's one
Mm-hmm.
of the last. So,
It's
well,
insane.
pour one out for poor Catal.
Pour one out, yeah. Well, let's see. What do you? What else are we gonna? Well, I guess we could actually say. You want to talk about what we talked about last week really quickly to
Do an update?
kind of go
Yeah.
into this? Yeah.
Yeah. You
So
want to start off with?
sure, yeah. So the cruiser, um, we talked about it last week. If you guys missed that, last week there was we talked about the Star Wars Hotel and Walt Disney World, and we were talking about it, and it's not in a great state.
No.
It's kind of expensive for what it is, and um, a lot of people aren't booking it, and that was pretty prevalent from the information we got today.
Yeah, we found out that coming this fall, they're gonna pretty much cut all of the weekday cruises, and it's
Yeah,
just gonna be weekdays or weeknight or sorry,
weekends.
weekends. Yeah. And so
It's-
I think that's saying a lot.
yeah, because I
This
mean now
is
you're. I mean, I think that's just like like the state it's in that you're not selling what you thought was gonna be. I mean, they kind of it's kind of funny because it takes you back to Galaxy's Edge too. When they opened it, they thought
Mhm.
they'd get more people, and they didn't. You'd think like
Right.
it's I don't know.
And it's this is kind of different though in the sense that like the with Star Wars with Galaxy's Edge, it was like we're gonna wait until the craziness dies down and then everyone stayed away.
Yeah,
This one
that's true.
is
Yeah, they kind of pushed everyone away. I
yeah,
feel
this one
like,
is they're trying to get people in and people just are
and the only way you can do
not
that
doing it.
is you either do because I don't know if there's. I mean, we don't live out there. We don't like actively look into that. So I don't know if there's any deals with the Star Wars Hotel. If there's not, I think a way to get
Yeah.
people in would be to start with some deals, to be with like hotel deals, like maybe some packages or something. Um,
Yeah.
and then the only other thing flat out would be cut your cut your losses and cut the cost of it.
Yeah. I mean they're doing it. I know is that they're doing a cast member discount, but I mean 50% off of a 5,000
You're still making money.
cruise. It's yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I would be curious to know like how much what's the operating cost versus
a lot.
how much they're bringing in. I would think so because
I
you
mean,
have an entire. I mean, I mean, it's only 100 rooms, but you still have
you
housekeepers
still. I mean,
and
you built a whole new building. This is a completely
yeah,
building specifically made for you can't gut it and make it a regular. I mean, you could, but you can't like make it just a regular hotel like that. It has to. It's gonna take at least a year, maybe I'd imagine, because you have to take out LED, like LCD screens, or LED. I imagine LED. You have to take out LED screens. You have to take out. You have to like the bar. The interior is meant to look like you're in a ship, so you have to like it's a whole thing. You can't just make it like
mhm.
that. So
There's no
this
windows either.
no.
It's all
So this isn't gonna
yeah,
go away because
mhm,
they've spent too much money on this. That this is like kind of like we've made our bed, we have to lie in it type thing. So um,
yeah.
they're not gonna
I don't
they're not gonna go at least not anytime soon.
I don't think so. I think they will cut the price
They're gonna have
before
to.
they would close it.
Yeah.
Disney doesn't do. I don't think there's ever been a moment where Disney. Well, after 9/11, they closed some
Yeah,
Disney World
that's
hotels.
the. Well, I think they
That's the
closed the park.
only time.
Well, at least I
Yeah,
know and yeah, they closed Disneyland and everything. They closed the park for at least for the day.
for a day. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like in the aftermath
Oh
when
yeah, yeah.
they
That's what
just
you mean.
couldn't fill the hotel rooms, they
Yeah.
closed. I think like uh, Port Orleans, Riverside, and stopped. They left a whole wing of the what's now Art of Animation abandoned for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I could see a possibility. The problem is that it's so visible. Everyone knows about this, and it's kind of gotten this bad rap of being a dud. So just to save face, they might just let this be a loss leader and just say, you know what, we're just gonna operate at a loss and deal with it
Yeah.
whatever. But we
So I
can't
mean,
we can't let this be a failure at all.
100%, because that's. I mean, you have to, because it's just I mean, you spent probably billions, I'd imagine, on just advertising and like all the
Over
stuff. And you had influencers come out, do a lot of stuff that I don't even know how much that costed, because I think they probably did about 4 rounds of those things. I think. Um,
you know,
so it was. I don't even know how much that cost and all that stuff. I mean, I suppose you made some money back because they still had to buy their their alcohol and all. They had to buy the drinks and the
Yeah.
merchandise and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, you spent a lot of money on this, so it's either, you know, we'll cut costs, try to make at least a little bit of a profit off this thing, or we're just gonna have to say, you know what, we screwed up. Let's cut it
Yeah.
and let's just build a regular hotel, I guess, or something, or Star Wars themed hotel at
Yeah.
this point.
I think if they decide, we'll do this, I think what they'll probably end up doing is doing a story where it's not as immersive.
Yeah.
That they'll lower the price and it'll be a Star Wars, kind of like what Galaxy's Edge is, where you can kind of come into it at whatever level you want to be immersive in it, you
Yeah.
can.
Which
And
I think would still be, well, I think when you look at the larger scope of that, it's like that in itself kind of, you like, that seems to me it's like we admit defeat, type of thing, because I mean, what they did, their execution was not flawed. I don't think. I think it was done very well. Actually, it's just the cost, and it's like, well, I don't like there's people that, like, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars. I wanted to stay in that hotel, I did, and if I lived out there and I had the money, maybe I would definitely probably do that, but I don't. So for me, it's a give and take. I have to, do I want to go to Walt Disney World, or do I want to just go to the hotel? And I choose Walt Disney World.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, for people who live out there, or who even don't live out there, and just like, well, I like Star Wars, but I don't like it that much, It's like,
yeah. And sometimes it's just the principle of it. You're like, I can't justify this at all. So
yeah, it's a
yeah.
loss. So
Yeah.
that kind of sucks to see that it's gotten to this level.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and probably will not see this anywhere else. I don't think this is coming anywhere. We mentioned this last week. That's my prediction. I think this is kind of the end of it.
Yeah.
And I think maybe what we're seeing kind of with a lot of these hotels that they're doing, because like Polynesian at Disney World is Moana themed, but it's themed. We're not trying to put you in Moana. It's still the old Hawaiian Polynesian theme with Moana touches, and I think that's what they're going to go with from now on.
Gonna do, and even if they were planning on doing something like that over here, not anymore. That's gone out the window for sure.
Yeah, I think over here in Disneyland, I don't think they could really get away with that.
Well,
You think that
especially with given
such a
location
local?
wise, I was like, location wise, probably not. Just like because you're around in suburban industrial type stuff, but I think that because Disneyland is such a local park, I feel like that would kind of work. I understand why they put it at Walt Disney World, because it's a touristy park, but no, I feel like something like that would work on a lower scale, but to that kind of immersive level, but on a lower scale, I think that would definitely work here, though.
Yeah,
I do.
It is kind of interesting. I listened to a Disney podcast called the DHI podcast, and the host there, Todd James Pierce, was doing a thing, and he was talking about how Disneyland and Disney World are kind of separating. At like they're Disney's finally realizing that there's two types of Disney traveler. That there's the Disney World people, and then there's the Disneyland locals, and they're experiencing the parks in two separate ways. And so for the Disney World people, it's a vacation, it's touristy, it's all about rides and experiences like the Starcruiser kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's the people like at Disneyland, like us, who are locals, who are like, this is our hangout spot. This is kind of like our park. This is our community center kind of thing. Yeah.
Literally.
And so they're building things like things like Avengers Campus, which are kind of just hang out. It has it has two rides and a show, and there's some entertainment. Yeah, no, they didn't have to be good rides, I guess, but yeah, I mean, there's kind of this, and that's why I kind of think that something like Starcruiser just wouldn't. I just don't even think they would attempt it over here.
Yeah,
we kind of proven ourselves as
well, yeah, this is an annual pass. Oh, I'm sorry, Magic Key Holder park.
All you all of us legacy fans.
Yeah. This is it's a Magic Key Holder park more than Walt Disney World is. This is definitely the money they get off this park is from it's from locals. It's not from tourists.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of tourists do come here still, but it's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
But it's
you
not
also
vacation.
no. Well, there's no state tax in Florida. There is here, so
That's true, yeah, there's that.
you know. But yeah. So that's a shame what's happened, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, Disney World they bounce back. They always find something. I'm pretty sure maybe it'll find its voice or
I'd imagine.
its group that'll
Hopefully.
come back to it. So it's like the DVC thing. I mean, DVC, Disney Vacation Club, it took a while
Yeah.
for that to catch on. And they, uh, Old Key West was the first DVC hotel that they built. And, it was popular, but it wasn't until they expanded
Mhm.
that people were like, okay, this is something. And it was always kind of like this odd thing. It's like they're apartments and they're villas, and
Yeah.
so maybe it just needs. I think it needs time to probably
Probably. I'd
find
imagine.
its voice. But they will have to do something to get people in
Yeah. Oh
in
yeah.
the door.
And it's
Yeah.
gonna have to be soon. Gonna
Right.
have to be
Yeah.
soon. But while we're still on the topics of hotels, and since you mentioned DVC,
Hmm.
um, they actually they're back to week 1 when we first recorded this podcast. It was audio only, but that's okay. They actually announced when the Disneyland villas were gonna open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, did you want
Oh, I was just gonna go right into it,
to?
but if you wanted to,
Yeah. Go ahead. No. Yeah.
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say it was gonna
Yeah.
be it's gonna open up late fall. I think it said late fall. Well, I don't know. I think it just said fall. I meant late September, but they're gonna open up late September, September 28th. It will be when they open. I believe the booking started today. I think right or yesterday for DVC
Uh.
members,
No. No. No.
or is it next week?
It's next week. Yeah.
Okay, okay. That's right
It's
because
a
it's
four,
14, 15, 16th,
14,
right?
15, 16th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So you still got time to reserve for those. So I'm assuming it's gonna start September, obviously. Um, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see those rooms.
And yeah, they showed a picture of the mural that's going to be
Hmm.
in the lobby, and it looks cool. I mean, they're really doubling down on this mid-century modern, kind of blending it in with the current
And
hotel.
I think if you're gonna
So
go all in, go ahead. Like
yeah,
again, there's gonna be people that probably don't like the theme because it's more of a modern theme with hints of theming. I feel like is the best way to describe
yeah,
it. You have hints of theming. It's not fully themed like a Polynesian or even a
or even
Grand
Grand California.
Californian.
Yeah, hmm,
Right? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
There's very much more modern architecture in that, and with hints of theming. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing if you lean into it all the way.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
if you don't shy away from it, which they're not, which is I think very nice because the rooms still look very very nice, very modern, very clean, very slick. And I'm excited to stay in them.
yeah. I mean,
Hopefully,
I'm too. I'm
hopefully.
just hopefully. Yeah, I know. Even just to go in and walk around, it looks like a nice
Yeah. Oh yeah,
place.
we'll have to for
So.
sure.
Hmm.
Um,
So that'd be cool. I mean, you're talking about 50 years between the last major like hotel tower being built at the Disneyland Hotel, and now we're here for this huge expansion. So
this is cool. Yeah.
that's cool. It is, yeah.
So,
So
but I think that was covers about for the news, right?
that was all the news. Yeah. Did
Yeah.
we talk about the EP Ripley
We did not know
coming back?
if you
No.
wanna kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
throw
yeah.
that in there.
Yeah. The first Disneyland Railroad train, the first locomotive that was put on the tracks is the EP Ripley.
Hmm.
It's the one that Walt rides in the opening day special with that famous picture of him coming down the tracks. That was that's the EP Ripley. It was built at the Disney Studios, so it's an original, um, or it was built for Disneyland
Yeah.
specifically, and it was off. It's been gone for 5 years. It went into restoration in 2021. In 2021, they restored it, and looks like they took it all the way back down. They took everything apart, put it all back together, new pieces, new parts, and stuff. So it's a brand new train, pretty much, and it is back, and I'm very happy about that because
Yeah.
I
We're gonna have to
that's a
we'll have to
piece
go
of
ride
Disney
that.
history. Oh yeah, yeah. If it's for me, whenever I see the train coming in, it has to be either the CK Holiday or the EP Ripley. And if either one of those are on the tracks, I
You'll
go on
ride
it.
it.
Yeah, because those are the two original ones. Those are
Yeah.
the ones. Yeah.
So
So yeah, I'm glad to see that back.
yeah, it was
That was
really cool
that
piece
was cool.
of history.
Hmm. I
That's kind
really,
of still around.
yeah. I never. I thought it was. I thought they were just going to retire it, and we would see it maybe
At the next
in like a
C23.
kind of, yeah, yeah,
Lots planned. Yeah.
sponsored by Santa Fe, the Walt's train. So I guess that's it for the news. We kind
Yeah,
of
that's everything.
got some updates and things, but
Mhm.
now we're going to move on to our main discussion, where we're going to talk about our top 10 Disney
Rides.
rides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So we're
attractions, yeah.
attractions. Yeah. Yeah. As John Hinch said, there's no rides at Disneyland, only attractions. But we're kind of sticking away from shows and nighttime spectaculars and stuff, and just focusing on the
Rides
rides,
itself, yeah.
the
I
rides themselves.
if
Yeah.
maybe we'll do a top 5 shows or something. I because it's
Oh,
like maybe we'll do
yeah.
that. So
Well, I think people know if they listen to the last two
what our
episodes. I
number
think
one
they know
is,
what our
yeah,
number ones are going to be
yeah,
for right now. Yeah.
for sure.
So,
But yeah. Do you so I think what we're gonna do for this format would just be you give your top 10, then I give my top 10. We'll go back and forth with such.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, alrighty. So I guess
Yeah.
you want to start off first with your top
I'll
10?
yeah, I'll start off. So my number 10
Mm-hmm.
is Alice in Wonderland.
Really? Whoa!
Yeah.
Coming out of the
Yeah.
gate here. Wow.
Yeah.
Really? I
Yeah.
did not think
Yeah,
anything
I
like that
love
would sneak in there.
yeah, no, I love this dark ride. It's one of those things that as a kid, Peter Pan was my go-to. But then
Mm-hmm.
when I got to be a little bit older, for some reason, Alice in Wonderland always like it was just fun to me. I love the intimacy of it. Like it sounds weird, but how everything's close to everything's close to the ride vehicle,
Uh,
and you're just kind of winding through. And I love that you go outside
well, I
and
mean,
you have to go.
it's the only dark ride I think that is a that has 2 floors.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's what's so cool about it is that you have that experience of
Mm-hmm.
going up it in the
Yeah.
building and then
Oh
going
yeah.
out.
And I think
And
that's the longest dark ride and Fantasyland, I think.
I would believe it, yeah. Oh yeah, no,
Because
definitely.
it's conveniently longer than Mr. Toad's for sure.
It is, yeah.
Um,
Oh, it is, yeah. Honorable mention for Mr.
honorable
Toad's.
mention.
Yeah. But no?
That
Good.
dragon scared the hell out of me, man.
Oh no, it's yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
scary. Especially if they had if they got backed up and you were just stuck under it and you just had to
Yeah,
keep hearing him cough every 5
yeah.
minutes.
And it's hot
But
in there.
it is hot, and it's hot, interestingly enough, in Alice in Wonderland, because when you're up there in the card scene, when she says "off with your
Mm-hmm.
head," you're on
Yeah,
top
you're yeah.
of there, yeah. But I remember when I was a kid, back before they put the OSHA, they redid
Yeah,
the exterior
yeah.
part, and you actually went over the edge and stuff like that. It had a great story, or a great kind of flow to it, and yeah,
Oh
there's
yeah.
there
Oh,
yeah, there's an interesting story. I'm just this real quick story. So when
okay.
they redid it in 1983, it didn't have the ending that it has where you go down back into the building and
Yeah, then
you
it's
come
the
out,
birthday thing.
the birthday thing. And supposedly the story was Tony Baxter, who was Imagineer, worked on it, had said that they wanted to increase the ridership of this ride. And they thought, well, if we put like an explosion or something at the end, it might intrigue kind of like teenagers to go on it. There might be something to see. I don't know how true this story is, but there is that scene where the cake explodes at the end.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
which is a great scene.
that's crazy. I did not think that was gonna sneak in there. I mean, it's a popular ride.
Yeah.
It's like it's up there with Peter Pan in terms of popularity. Those are the two that have the longest lines.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's why I never get on Alice in Wonderland, honestly, because it's a good ride. I like it, but I can't justify waiting that. I can't justify waiting like 45, 50 minutes for that ride. Me
Yeah, and I
personally.
think that's yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. It's definitely right after the fireworks and they open it up, everyone goes to the
Right, yeah,
forecourt,
same
to
thing
the
with
fore there.
Magic Morning and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Rope
Yeah.
drop,
So it's
that's filled.
well, if you're rope dropping Alice in Wonderland, I think you need to recheck your priorities. That's just my opinion
I
though.
mean,
Yeah.
For some people, I got kids, I guess, but
Kids, yeah. Okay, I'd see that. But
that's interesting though. Yeah, I did not think that was gonna sneak in
yeah,
there. You might be surprised about what my number 10 is actually. I think this might
I think
actually
so.
garner some definitely.
Oh,
It's gonna be like what? Damn. My number 10 is the
okay.
Haunted Mansion.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
just squeaked on in there, just
yeah.
barely, huh?
Well, so okay. Listen.
Yeah, explain yourself.
I I
Let's.
I love the Haunted Mansion. I do. There's a myriad of attractions I could have put in here. And I don't know. The other ones that come after this to me have nostalgia value to me. It's these are things I just enjoy, and I'll get into those as we go. But I mean, Haunted Mansion, it's a great attraction. I do like it. One of those that is hit or miss for me on wait time. Right,
Oh,
wait time kind of determines if I get on this ride or not. That's how I look at it for myself. I love the Haunted Mansion. I do, but to me there's just to me there is better rides. I'm sorry, there's better rides that I will wait an hour for.
wow.
And Haunted Mansion
Yeah.
is just not one of those for me. I'm sorry. Like I will if it's Haunted Mansion Holiday, and if it's regular Haunted Mansion, like so if it's Haunted Mansion Holiday and it's an hour, I'll get on it because if I need to get on, I want to see the gingerbread house. You have to see the gingerbread house,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And the fact that they change that every year, that's it's awesome. I love to see that. So I will wait for an hour for that. For the first time. For the first time, I will wait an hour. After that, it's got to be 30 minutes or less, or maybe 40. We'll go 40 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And then if it switches back, same thing, an hour. That's fine. I'll wait for it for the when it switches back. But I just can't justify waiting an hour for that, man. I just can't. And then that ride also has been breaking down kind of a lot recently, so it's kind of like I don't know if it's gonna stay up by the time I go in and all that stuff. So, but I love it though. I do. I really do. There were some new effects that I actually saw. Well, I don't know if they were new, but I never noticed this, and it kind of creeped me out actually.
Which one?
When I went, so when you're in the graveyard, right, the actual ending, right before the hitchhiking ghost, or I guess yeah, right before, I think it's, I want to say, I think it's right after the singing bus, I think.
Oh.
If you look to the right, I don't know if this was always there or if this was always open. I guess I never looked around. I don't know. There's a Grim Reaper.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
never noticed that.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen it. Yeah, and they have like
Yeah.
a little wind machine thing that
Yeah,
just kind
and
of
it just
it's like
kind
a
of like
curtain and it
yeah,
just kind of
and
yeah.
it's like glowing, and I'm like, oh my god! I was like, that's kind of scary. I
That's the
was
one. Yeah,
thinking,
because the Doom buggy doesn't turn you to it
no,
until you're already like, and then when you turn and see it, you're like, oh
that
snap.
that actually scared me, and I was with two of my friends. Um, so this was recently. I went to the park recently. I was with two of my friends, and we did. There was three of us, so we did the um, we all three of us rode in the same dune buggy. And they turned, and we all saw at the same time, and I was like, oh my god. And I turned to my friend, and she was like, oh, she goes, oh my god, I never knew that was there. I was like, me neither. And it was very like, we were like, that's kind of scary, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
um
No, that's like the one effect I think in the graveyard. But they've done a really good job since they brought it back from Haunted Mansion Holiday recently.
yeah,
They've done I mean, everything in there looks crisp and
very,
the lighting
yes,
and stuff.
very good.
I love it.
So yeah, man, that's my top 10.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad it's on your list.
Yes,
So
it is on my
yeah,
list.
I will agree. It's a little, I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't even wait 40 minutes, I think, for it.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I love it, but I think you got to wait for a second showing of Phantasmic or something, or first showing of Phantasmic. At least that used
when
to be the
you
thing.
when you get out, and it's like, yeah, same thing with Splash Mountain. If you're getting out and if you can time it with like where you can see the
Mhm.
dragon on top of the, yeah, it's cool. It's
Mhm.
it's it's one of those things you gotta try to time.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna go with my number
Yeah.
nine. And if you were surprised by number 10, I think you'll probably be surprised by this one.
Mm.
Number nine's the Railroad, the Disneyland
Okay.
Railroad.
Okay. I didn't really count that one as a okay. Okay.
I didn't? Oh,
No, no. In my head it wasn't. Well, because in my head it's more of a transportation ride, right? It's more like
yeah.
monorail-ish.
Yeah.
Um.
And I just,
So no, that's fine. That's okay. I mean,
yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. Wow.
That Yeah,
Really, I'm
that
surprised
to
that actually
me.
is your number 9. I feel like that'd be a lot higher.
You think so?
I feel
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I think it's for me. It's like a nostalgia. It's like with you
Hmm.
with the mansion. It's a nostalgic thing
Hmm.
where, as a kid, that was just how we ended the day. Like
Mm.
we didn't do the walk down Main Street. We took the train
Yeah,
around, and I always remember being cold on it because for some reason we always went at night, and I was never dressed ever
it gets pretty,
properly,
yeah. And then
and it
when
was
you go
always
through the
cold.
tunnels, it definitely
Yeah.
gets cold.
But I just, for me, that's quintessential Disneyland,
Mm.
especially before like Galaxy's Edge, and even after, because I do love what they've done with the Rivers of America area. But yeah, that whole experience was just amazing, and of course uh, Grand Canyon dioramas there
Yes.
with that beautiful hand painted, all done by Claude Coates. That mural in the back is hand
Yeah, hand
painted,
painted. It's
is
crazy.
just
I don't
gorgeous.
know if I actually did I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast. Did talk about when I went on the Lily Bell on the podcast? I
No,
don't
I
think
don't
I
think
did.
so.
So I was able to go on the Lily Bell, and we're gonna have to get you. We're gonna try to get you on there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. Oh
at
my
some
gosh.
point. I will do my best. But yeah, so I was actually given the great privilege of going on the Lily Bell. And it is a very nice, very calming. Let me tell you, dude. So it's one round trip. So you go the whole way. It is so calming in that train car. I was so relaxed. I have never been so relaxed on that train. The seats are so comfortable, and you just kind of feel, and I mean, so it's just your party that goes. It's not anybody. And if for those of you that don't know, the label is very hard to get on. It is
It's
not
the
some.
caboose.
It's not something somebody just goes on. If they're really slow, if it's slow day at Disneyland and they're not really hurting or anything, and you ask, sometimes they'll let you on it. But for the most part, it's usually it's very hard to get on that thing. So it's usually just your party that goes. So there was only like 4 of us, 5 of us, that went. So and it's a decently sized car. It's a big car. I showed you some pictures.
Yeah. It's
It's
an original. It's
yes.
original 1955
Hmm.
car
And
that they've redone.
it was so it was just us in there. It was very calming, very quiet. So nice. It's very dark in there. I know my pictures seem like a little bright. It is very dark
Yeah.
in that car.
Really?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
because it's dim lighting.
Yeah. No.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's very dark in that car, but it's very nice. And they have an actual like a conductor in there with you who tells you the history about it and like kind of like have you have any questions or anything. So I actually found out. I never knew this. I don't know if you did either. Um, I think she said there's like 3,400 or something like that, or it's 1,200 or something. It's a lot of animals. I didn't know that. There's like 1,200 or something animals in that diorama of the Grand
Really?
Canyon, and those are all taxidermied.
So they're all real.
They're all real.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah, and
that's amazing.
I looked at my mom and I was like, oh, I was like, we like all of us kind of looked at each other like, oh, let's go. And then she's like, don't worry, they're like the locally sourced. Like we didn't. She's like,
Locally.
they weren't specifically killed for this. So like type of thing. But yeah, I didn't know that. I was, and it's funny because she said that we passed a bunny rabbit.
Locally sourced. They just picked them off a Harbor
Yeah.
Drive.
So I was like, wow, that is insane. And the fact that she told me there were so many, because I mean, I'm sure they're probably littered without. But yeah, and part of me, like wanted to be smart and be like, oh, so the dinosaurs are taxidermy too. Like, um,
Oh
but
my.
it is very beautiful. And like I said, we'll try to get you on there and try to get footage for everyone. Um,
Yeah. No,
but
that's a cool.
it's very
That's
cool.
something I've always wanted to do. That's on the bucket list
It's very
for
cool, and
sure.
I'm forgive me, it's buried underneath here, but you actually get a ticket that says like I rode the Lily Bell, and you can like write your name on it, all that stuff. It's very cool.
Oh, that's
It's littered under. I'll try to find it maybe for next week, but I apologize. It is littered here. I'll
no,
try to find it though.
that's cool. I
But
didn't.
it's very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you showed me the little ticket that they
Yeah.
handed
Yeah.
you.
So
That's
if anything,
cool.
I'll show a picture.
Yeah.
But it is very cool. Very
I
cool.
think that the diorama, um, you can't underestimate how cool those
Oh,
are.
yeah, that's nostalgic for me as well. That's something that I
Mhm.
would beg my mom to go on when we'd go.
Yeah.
Was to
Oh
see
yeah,
the
and
dinosaurs.
the dinosaurs, and going back because I love the history, but going back, that's 1964.
Yeah,
Those are OG
something Walt wanted. Yeah,
animatronics. It's yeah. So I mean, the fact that those remained is
and they're
is
kind of
amazing.
terrifying. The T-Rex is kind of terrifying.
Yeah, yeah. No, they don't mess around. Those were, and that's so amazing how well done they are.
Yeah,
Even
even then, yeah, and
60,
it's
almost 60 years.
and that's got to be something that's like even with man, like even being older, like I'd like we were talking about it with the lady too that was there, and she was like, yeah, she was like, like sometimes it's kind of like scary to go in there. And I'm like, dude, like, yeah, because you have to go in there to fix the animatronics. You have to like, you can actually go back there, like, and all that stuff, and
Yeah,
that's got to be scary. I feel like even,
yeah.
I mean, I feel
You
like
got
walking Mansion, like by like and like, and that's got to be scary.
yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Especially if you don't have all the show lights on, or if all the like show lights are on and
Yeah.
stuff, and you're just
Well, even when that's on, all you hear is the pistons moving from the
yeah. Do
animatronics,
you
so that's got to be scary. I feel like.
yeah. Did you ever see they used to have the chicken exit in you ever heard of the chicken exit at Haunted Mansion
No,
where
what
you
is
would like so I don't know if this was a I feel like it was a thing because I saw like a video of it, but when you're walking down the portrait gallery
Mhm.
heading to the Doom buggies, there's that door there that they were using during the pandemic.
The left. Yes, so
Yeah,
that
that
where you
yeah,
can
that door.
shuttle out. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then suppose if you went through another door, there's a door that would lead to the kind of goes behind. It's just for cast members, but that would take you behind the conservatory
Yes.
scene and then Madame Leota and kind of wrap around. Somebody on YouTube, this was like when YouTube was pretty new, had gone back there and just kind of filmed and the nightmare fuel that he recorded because you hear all the different sounds of the
Yeah.
different show scenes all at once and you're yeah. So
Yeah,
I'd
that's
imagine that would be kind of
that's gotta
creepy.
be. I mean, you can call us chickens or whatever. But that's creepy, man. It's creepy. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care. Um. So yeah. So that's your number 9, huh?
That's my number 9, yeah.
Okay. All right. We're gonna take a
What's
trip
yours?
to California Adventure here.
Oh, okay.
My number 9 is Guardians.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
That is the first time it'll be on a list, or the
I
only
was
time it'll be on a
I
list
know
for
you're
me.
not a huge fan of this ride. Um, we have gone and we've tried to get Steve to go on this, and he will not. Um, but he's getting on it next time.
Yeah,
At
well,
least
we'll
one
have to.
time. At least one time we'll get on it. But yeah, he doesn't. He does not like this ride. But
I made a yeah. I made the mistake of going on it for the Halloween, and that was my first time on it, and
the Halloween
that
one
was
is completely different than what it actually is, too, which is funny.
so I've done the Tower of Terror in Florida, and
Mhm.
I had no problem with that. I went on the one for the Halloween one here, the
So
Monsters After Dark. Just I was like, I mean,
So, do you
you want to
not like
hear
it because it moves you up and down when you're watching the scenes?
not even that. It's just like the constant like what's gonna happen. It's like 3 minutes of constant we're gonna send you up to the top,
Well, it
drop
is
you a
longer
foot, and then
than Walt Disney
it's
World's Tower of Terror, but
yeah, because it's like a solid 3 minutes. I mean, it is 3 minutes of torture,
yeah, it's a full
you
song
know.
because they play a song. Well,
Yeah,
not a full song. It's
that was
probably about like
it's yeah.
almost half a
My
song.
f- yeah, I mean, I love the premise of it. I think it's a great use of the technology, and I think it's fun and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's
I
intense for
I
me.
I, I really do. This was fun. I like Tower of Terror. I did. Um, growing up, I did. Or growing up, I didn't. I meant to say. I hated Tower of Terror. And then I want to say probably about when I was 14, 15, I started liking um Tower of Terror, and then or no, I guess it would be 13. I was 12, 13, because I think 15 is when they changed it. 2015
Uh,
is when they changed it to
yeah,
Guardians, I think.
for 2016,
Something somewhere around there, yeah.
early 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was around like 13, yeah, around like 13, 14. I started liking Tower of Terror. Um, and Guardians of the Galaxy obviously had just come out, all that stuff, and they were like, yeah, let's change it to Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was like, yes, so let's go, let's do it. So and I like I like the queue is cool. I like the queue. It's very well done. And just the overall premise of it, and the fact that I feel like there's more drops on Guardians than there is in Tower of Terror. Our Tower of Terror. Obviously, I know there's more on the Walt Disney World, because Walt Disney World's main portion is the dark ride portion.
Yeah.
That's like the whole kind of ride, kind of. Because you get dropped what, twice, and then it's done.
It depends, because sometimes you'll just have one, like a
Mhm.
couple of drops. Sometimes you will do just like one big drop and
Yeah.
a couple little ones and stuff like that. But yeah, no, this is
Yeah,
definitely
so
more.
this you go, and then it's really cool. But and then this is one that has a Halloween version. Rip Ghost Galaxy, you'll be missed. Um,
Ugh,
but
blah blah blah.
but yeah, so this is one that has a Halloween version. So it turns into Monsters After Dark, and you get chased by a dragon, which is really cool, and it plays heavy metal music. Um, and it's that one is not a random song. That's always every time. Every time that's gonna be the same experience. So there's like a part where it kind of just ramps up, and I feel like that's probably what got you too, right? Where it just like
Oh yeah.
keeps raising up, and
Oh
you're
yeah.
just
I was fading.
so. But honestly, it's funny. In saying this, probably is not going to make you want to get on it anymore. But I think that is the most fun version of of Guardians of the Galaxy.
My favorite part of it is when you go up and they open up the doors and she says, "Thank you for coming to the
Yeah,
collection," and she goes, "Oh," and then just right as she's about ready to come, she drops. That was the best part. But
it's a fun ride. I like it. I do.
yeah,
So that's my number 9.
I respect it. I
Mhm.
really do. I do wish I was more. I
We'll
wish
get
I
you there. We'll
maybe
get you
I think I need
there.
to go on the regular one and yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you there. No, we'll get you some like Tums or something, and then we'll go.
Yeah. No, I need some Pim's Test Kitchen, whatever that beer is over there.
Are you sure
Um,
you wanna? I feel
I'll
like I
risk
don't.
it.
Are you-
I'm gonna make that everybody's problem.
we'll go to Trader Sam's, and then we'll get you
There you go.
relaxed, and then we'll go.
There we go. Yeah. Give me some OA before I OA all over the place. So my number 8
Mhm.
is Snow White and her magical I forgot what the time.
Really?
No?
Snow
Yeah.
White?
Yeah,
You're surprising me out of the
I
gate here, man. This is crazy.
yeah, this one it's an original. This is 1955, but it wouldn't have been on the list if it hadn't been for the refurb that they just did. I thought that was such a
Where they
really
made it
well
less
done.
scary.
Yeah, yeah, for
It's
all
a little
the
scary.
kids. That's
I hate that
yeah.
ride.
Yeah,
I hate that ride so
really,
much. Yeah. Oh,
really. Even with the new
my first
updates.
date. I'm not ashamed of this either. I don't care. My first date with my girlfriend, we went to Disneyland. The last ride we went on was Snow White, and I was terrified. I hated this ride, and this was with a new refurb. I hated this
Oh
ride,
wow.
and she was like, "Oh, let's get on it. Like, I want to get on it. It'll be fun." And I was like, "Okay, fine, let's go." Um, and I absolutely hated this ride. I hate it so much. I hate the evil queen. I hate the way she turns around. I just don't like it. I don't care. Everybody's
Oh,
like, "Oh, the forest scene was the scary part." No, 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 no. The scary part is the witch, the old hag. She's the scary part. I don't care. That never scared me. The forest that never scared me. I hate the old hag. That is the scary part. I don't care what anybody says. So
yeah.
and she like I got out of there, and I put my head down like when that came on, and obviously it didn't ruin anything. She's my girlfriend now, but I hated that ride, and I'm not ashamed of it. Any
Yeah.
ride, any person I get on that ride with, I will be like, no.
Right. See, Pinocchio kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like that kind of is unnerving,
Mm,
but I will agree. They did keep probably what is the scariest, and they made it scarier because there's that scene when she does the potion, and the whole room has like this change, this like
lighting
projection
effect,
effect.
yeah,
Yeah, and I would think that'd be scarier. What's fun, what I like about it is they did tell the story better than the original version,
yeah,
where she's just pushing the boulder, and all of a sudden everyone's happy again.
yeah.
She's like they're like rushing up and stuff. Uh, what's interesting about it is because they didn't change the track, you still can tell where you're like you can still tell you're in the old forest scene,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and they just keep on moving it back and forth. But I think they did a good job of refurbishing it and stuff,
Okay, that's
and it
fair.
just has that nice,
That's fair.
kind of feel to
The
it.
only thing I don't like is that they got rid of what I did like from that attraction. They got rid of, which was the outside right before you enter the queue was the book and the apple and all that stuff, and they got rid of that stuff. That stuff's not there anymore.
Oh, because they have to say, yeah,
Yeah.
and they don't have. It's not the dungeon anymore. It's like her like little room or something
Yeah.
in that little rotunda thing. Yeah,
So,
but that's
yeah.
a that's my number 8,
Okay.
and
Number 8.
yeah.
You are surprising me today, man. I gotta tell you. But
See, this is
my number 8, we're still in California Adventure, um, and is the last California Adventure ride.
I was
Um,
ready to say we got to be
yeah.
wrapping this up pretty quickly here.
Incredicoaster, formerly known
Really?
as California Screamin'. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Trust me. Once I start getting down the list, you'll be like, okay, all right, this is where I thought it was going. But
See,
uh,
this one surprises me,
really,
especially since you said this is the last California adventure. Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't expect this.
I just I don't know. This was something that I think I was terrified of. This was. I mean, this is the most extreme roller coaster at Disneyland. And it's not even that extreme, really, compared to like Six Flags and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is the most like I guess hard like the actual roller coaster at Disneyland. Um, and I don't know. I just it's very fun. I feel like it's not again. It's very good entry level roller coaster,
Mhm.
right? It's very doable for some people. Some people still don't like it. It's like I will not do that type of thing. But I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was kind of lame that they just reskinned it. I'll be honest. I wasn't too big of a fan of that. Um, because I mean California Screaming, I got on it when I was forced to get on it. Well, not forced, but I was. They kept like my brother and sister were like, get on and get on and get on. I'm like, okay, okay, fine, fine. And I was terrified. I went on my brother. My brother was like, you're gonna be fine, dude. Like you'll be okay. And I was like, yeah, okay, be fine, be okay, I'll be okay. And as soon as I got off of it, I was like, let's go again. This is fun. This is a cool ride. Um, so I enjoyed it, and California Screaming was I like the California Screaming version. Um,
Really?
yeah, I mean
More than
well, Incredicoaster's cool because it has the tunnels, right? It actually has
yeah.
there's visuals in the tunnels this time. That's kind of cool. As far as like the story of it though, I don't know. I'm like okay, yeah, it's cool, but I don't know.
The story is it's kind of they're really grabbing at straws because it's
Yeah,
like at the end of the ride, Mrs. Incredible says, "Sorry for the crazy ride." And you're like, "Well, we didn't have a choice. It was a roller coaster. We kind of like you guys didn't cause the crazy
yeah,
like I don't know.
it
That
was.
seemed kind of weird to me.
I don't
The
know.
story is a
Yeah,
little
it's very like I said. I wasn't very happy that they just kind of were like, yeah, we're just gonna, because I feel like there could have been other stuff you probably could have done, but I don't know.
yeah.
I think
I like the music though. I like
the music is cool.
the
Music
mu-
is cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's better than
California Screamin's kind of
the
like
screaming music.
just random. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was it's something that was really cool and something that was just like eh, this is something that is in California Adventure that I kind of have to get on when I go over there.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, it's my number 8.
Yeah. I think that's a good one. That's a good spot for it.
Yeah,
Because it's not I don't go to Disneyland for that kind of that kind of experience necessarily.
I feel you. I feel you.
I'm more of I want to see like kind of a story kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I get you.
But it's I think it's a great I think it's a great coaster. You said it's a great entry level coaster. It
Hmm.
really is.
Yeah,
Because all of the like scary stuff, like those first few drops are I mean those are I mean, for Disney, those are
yeah.
intense
Oh yeah.
drops and then all that stuff. And they're smart about making those the first things you encounter so that
Hmm.
the rest of the ride is you have more time to just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're not
Up
worried
until
about
that
what's that
loop,
big
which isn't
drop,
even that bad actually.
which isn't that bad, no. And for me, that people would be because when I was a kid, I was afraid of it, and I wasn't even afraid of the loop. I was
Yeah.
afraid of the drop because
Yeah,
I
same. I hated
clearly
drops.
can't do the drops, but I enjoy it, and
It's a very fun ride, very cool ride.
it is.
Which is funny
Yeah,
too. I'm actually surprised that you can do that ride more than you can do Guardians because I feel like Guardians is much more tame than Incredicoaster.
See, I can go on Incredicoaster. Like we've literally walked out of the exit and gone right back in,
Yeah, no,
and I have
I
no
mean,
problem with that.
I've been on it. We've been on it. We
And
went on it twice when we went, me and you, and we went on because first
yeah,
time, and then second time was nighttime,
yeah. So for me, I don't.
which
It's
also
not even a.
kind of adds to my thing for a number because it's at nighttime. It's very beautiful because everything's lit up, so you're able to see the surrounding areas. Like literally, I think when I told you like when we were at night, I was like I wasn't even paying attention to the ride. I was paying attention to like the
Yeah,
surrounding areas because you can see the hotels and all that stuff. It's very beautiful at night. So
it's a really cool. Yeah, I've never done it in the day. I've only ever done it at night, just because I love it at night,
hmm, yeah,
dusk nighttime. So
very 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 cool.
it's
So
that's a solid one. You redeemed yourself
Haunted Mansion.
from Haunted Mansion being there. Um, so my number 7
Sorry.
is Space Mountain. I think
That,
is this.
whoa.
Yeah, I
Whoa.
know it's.
Okay.
See, when you see the rest of the list, though, I think you're gonna be like, okay, this is where
Probably.
it's
I
got to go. And yeah, but I love, I'm an architecture guy. I love architecture. I love design.
you do, yes.
This
That
building
building,
is the
iconic.
best.
It's
It's
in our
iconic.
podcast profile or
It is, yeah.
podcast picture. Yeah.
hmm For a reason, because it's. I mean, how many buildings just in the world can you know just by looking at the silhouette of it?
Yeah.
And you're just like it's that iconic.
It's a very iconic
Um,
building. Yeah. It's
yeah,
probably possibly honestly, I probably honestly probably one of the most iconic. It's probably the iconic besides the Matterhorn maybe is the iconic attraction for Disneyland.
yeah, and it's something it's fully designed by Disney. It's John Hinch who designed it, and it still looks good. It's almost 50 years old, and it still looks good all these years. That cone shape, it's just great.
Yeah.
But I my the reason why it's not higher is I'm not a fan of the cube. I don't like that they put you in the Starcade thing. You're
I
in that thing for
I
five
respect you for that.
hours,
Yeah.
and then you get into the you're in the guts of the building, and you just keep going through corner
Well,
hallway after hallway.
if you remember, for the longest time, they didn't put you in that building.
Oh yeah, no, they
You were
put you in the
outside the
yeah,
entire time,
which
and
was worse, but
no, it really was. Yeah, and then I want to say recently, right? Like 6, 7 years ago, they started doing that.
hmm
Um,
yeah, it was when they got rid of the X-wing that was hanging up there, and
yeah, that
they got
sucked.
rid of the
Man,
escalators and stuff.
I was excited. Basically, the actual arcade area they got rid of
Was
it.
gone. Yeah,
Yeah, but no,
sign's still there.
I get you. I understand why. Yeah, the queue's not very fun on Space Mountain, and there's not
Figure's
much
not
to
good.
look
Yeah.
at.
No, yeah, no. It's just the same video of those guests getting whiplash
You will
on
experience.
the coaster.
It's like
Yeah, but
but
I mean, the ride experience is great. I mean, I love it. I do. You got the three lift hills
mhm,
that take you up.
yeah,
Um, that's the only. This is the only Space Mountain that does that, where you have like the three
yeah,
lift hills and stuff.
because Paris is
Uh,
a launch.
there's a launch,
Um,
and
and it's
Disney World's
also
is just a chain hill.
yeah, yeah, because yeah, that's right. Because both of but yeah, yeah, and then
hmm
um, well, no, well, I guess Tokyo's is gonna change.
Tokyo's
But
yeah. I guess technically Tokyo, Hong Kong both
yeah,
have the same
yeah,
one as ours.
but
So,
that's gonna,
I
but not
mean,
anymore because that's gonna change. Which
they're gonna change
honestly,
it.
that's kind of. I mean, their design that they showed at D23 is very cool. I like it.
It looks, yeah,
Very
yeah.
awesome.
Well, it's a great like modern version of this
Hmm.
of that building. Now if we were talking about speaking of other parks, if we were talking about Star Wars, the Hyperspace Mountain,
Yes,
then it might have been higher up on my list
Hyperspace Mountain is
because
really cool.
it is a really well done overlay and stuff.
That elevates it
But
really cool. Yeah.
it's yeah,
The music alone is, I think,
it's
changes the
perfectly.
actual, yeah. Which goes to show actually that the soundtrack on that ride matters
hmm
because it
It really does.
changes the experience because it feels like you go fast. They don't change the speed or anything. They don't do anything, but the music makes it feel like you go faster in Star Wars.
hmm Yeah, and I don't, and it's amazing that it went for like 20 something years without music.
Hmm.
That like, because I mean even Disney World they didn't get music until like I think 10 years ago. But yeah, no, it's a great ride. It's fun. I enjoy it all the time. It's one of those rides though where it's like if it's a 60-minute, if it's an hour wait, I'm not I'm not waiting in it. I just can't because I can't in that queue. It's
See that for me, I'm gonna disagree with you on that one, but I'll more on that later.
okay.
More on
Okay.
that. All right,
All
so
right.
that's your number 7, huh?
That's number 7, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're gonna notice a bit of a theme here. My number 7 is the Matterhorn.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, same thing. I just wasn't a fan of it as a kid. Hated it. The Yeti alone, which is funny because it's a lot more terrifying now than it was
Yeah.
back then. Um, but the Yeti is just it scared me so much, and this was back to obviously I rode it when it was still the lap seating before they
Oh, those
refurb
yeah, yeah.
this thing 1,000 times. Because it is. I mean, it's an opening or not. Oh, is it opening day? No, it's not opening day, right?
No,
Yeah,
1959.
yeah, but it
Same day
is.
as the monorail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this is still one of the basically one of the first kind of attractions that
Yeah.
was kind of there. So, um, I understand why it needs a lot of work. The foundation, I think, is actually it's cracking actually.
Tell me
So
that. Oh.
yeah, no, it's in rough shape. It's in rough shape. It's cracking. Um, but it's just it's good. It's funny. It hurts you in a good way. Like right, like you're gonna like when we went on it, you know what you're gonna get when you get on it. You're gonna
Yeah.
get some backbone.
I loved, speaking of the time we all went on it, I loved how I pulled the short straw and had to sit in the back.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
4 of us. I mean,
and
I got the back.
I just I don't I don't know. I think it's something that's just and it's iconic.
It's very iconic. Yeah.
It's iconic, and
You're talking first steel tubular roller
mhm,
coaster. I mean, you're talking the beginning of
yeah.
every roller coaster after it.
I mean, there's nothing like walking in Main Street, going towards the castle, looking to your right, and just seeing a giant snowy mountain out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's just, yep. And with a
Yeah,
nice little curb.
yeah.
There's a nice curb all around it too, just so that
So, yeah, I think it's just it's definitely one of those things where it's like you know, the anticipation of getting on. It's like I don't know. It's like once you get in the car, once you get in the bobsled, you're like, yeah, it's a good ride. It's a good ride,
yeah, it's a solid.
even though it
Yeah.
hurts a lot.
A lot. Not if you're in the first car, I feel like it doesn't hurt as much. But if you're in that
No, but
second
that's
car,
also just as scary though because you get to see everything first. So
yeah, that's true. Oh, alrighty, number 6.
uh-huh.
Uh, I think where this rightfully belongs,
Okay,
unlike some people's list, the Haunted Mansion.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Um, I
It's
think
funny.
like which
Okay.
is yeah. I mean, the other stuff on my list, I think it doesn't compare. But you're
Mhm.
dealing with an attraction that is just like it's just iconic. I mean, it is,
It
but it's
is.
at the same time, it's the way that they handled because you know the whole story about like is it going to be funny, is it
Yeah.
scary, what is it going to be, they think they struck such a unique balance that is very 1960s because it's kind of like
Corny.
tongue-in-cheek to the
Yeah.
point of corny. Yeah, it's almost corny, but because it's taken on its own, it's become its own thing,
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah.
it's almost this timeless
Spawn two
thing.
movies.
Yeah, we'll
Technically,
see. One,
technically three if you count. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro's version.
there is a script
Yeah, there's
somewhere.
a script
Yeah,
for that. So
so I mean, I love that. I love the lore behind it because
yeah,
everybody has a story about it. The, is it, what is the backstory? I love all the characters.
and it's
Hatbox
different
Ghost.
each version. Phantom Manor,
Yeah.
Haunted
Yeah.
Mansion.
And
I mean, Walt Disney World is kind of different too. Not too much, but
theirs
it's
is,
different.
yeah, they took what Disneyland
Built upon.
did and they
Mhm.
made it better. So they had like the music room and the library and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and then you have
But ours is
Mystic Manor.
Mystic Mare,
Um,
which I'm so bummed I didn't get to see when I was over there because they were doing the big refurbishment
oh,
then.
and it's really
But
cool. It is really cool.
it's and you
Um,
have Vincent Price as the ghost host. I mean, that is
yeah.
you don't get any better than that.
I gotta say though, I do think and I feel like everybody kind of unanimously agrees about this, that Phantom Manor is the be all end all though for the Haunted Mansions.
I think so. I mean, even just the ride through videos are
Yes.
just better
Yeah.
than because they they tell an actual story that's
Yes.
complete.
Hmm.
The music is
Eerie.
beautiful. It's eerie and beautiful because it's all orchestral and stuff. You have the like I forgot what they call it, the Thunder Mesa ghost town thing
Yeah, that it's actually in
with
Frontierland. It's linked. I mean,
yeah.
that whole land itself is
That's the thing that I
story.
love about it. Yeah. So the guy who owns Phantom Manor owns Big Thunder Mountain, and they're
It's
all
like a ranch thing,
connected.
yeah, and then
Yeah, that's a great
it's
story.
genuinely something they tried to make scary. And
Yeah,
same thing
because
because they said the story of it was like they were like, well, European people don't really care about that stuff. Like it's not to them that's not scary to European people,
yeah,
right? And it's
or
like
they don't get the funny, scary stuff.
yeah. So they were like, well, we don't want something that's like like they tried to make it westernized because they were like, well,
Mhm.
we have like we have those type of haunted mansion buildings, all that stuff. Like we have those kind of buildings here. Like they don't want to see that. So they tried to make it this big giant thing and tried to give it a scary undertone to it, and it worked. I think it's very well done, and I something I that's top of my list to go on when I go to Paris.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, this is definitely rope drop, run to
Yeah,
this
yeah,
kind
definitely.
of thing.
It
Yeah.
is. It
And
is cool.
yeah. And I remember like as a kid, for me, I mean, I was a Haunted Mansion kid. Like
Mm.
that. I wasn't even into like scary stuff, but the building and just
It's a
like because
very
I'm
beautiful building.
yeah, I love the building. I love the atmospheric of it. I love the set design of it. The fact
Yeah,
like the first part with all the Claude Coat stuff. I am kind of bummed. We're the only one that has like this that the void the
yeah.
when you load, and I think that's a missed opportunity because Phantom Manor has like that grand staircase and
That's very
uh,
beautiful too. And if
which is
it's
great.
and when I was watching a Lilite video, for some reason it turns the background green. Like the wind outside is green for some reason, and
Mhm.
I'm like, dude, that looks so beautiful. Like when it's
Yeah,
green, like that is so cool.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that is very beautiful. That's like, that's just it doesn't get better than that right there.
yeah, yeah.
But
And it's that was the and I think too that was the attraction that got me interested in Disney because I mean I think like everyone, it's like how do the ghosts in the ballroom, how does that work?
yeah,
And
for
that was
sure.
like the first like mystery that I was like, I gotta figure out how this works.
Yeah,
These people are doing stuff.
and behind the attraction, which is a series on Disney Plus, um, it did a really good job of talking about it, and it just really gets you more like if you really love Disney and Disney parks and want to know more about the technical side of stuff, the Imagineering side of stuff, watch Behind the Attraction on Disney Plus. It is very cool. It gets you a lot of insights. Episodes about hotels, the Hall of Presidents, Haunted Mansion, Star Tours, all that stuff, and it gives you good stories and all that stuff, and just kind of gets you more knowledge about it. It's very cool. Um,
That is, yeah.
and that's the type of stuff I like to watch. When it comes to Disney and everything.
Yeah. And the Imagineering story does a piece
Hmm.
on the Haunted Mansion too,
Yeah,
where they have Kim Irvine, whose mom was
Madame
Madame
Leota,
Leota as
and
Leota
then
Toombs,
she became.
and
Um,
yeah,
which is cool.
uh, that is a cool story.
So,
That's awesome.
um,
But
okay, your number
yeah,
six. That's funny.
nice.
The reason that's funny is because this kind of intertwines with my number six,
Okay,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So Pirates of the Caribbean. Um, this was a ride that's just. I mean, it's this also spawned movie franchise.
A
Um,
good one too.
a good one of my favorite movie franchises.
Uh-huh.
If we're talking Disney franchise, probably one of my favorite ones for sure. Dead Man's Chest is my all time favorite Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Really? Yeah, people
Yeah,
say that they love
Dead
that
Man's Chest is
second one.
so good. Oh my
It
gosh.
is good. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean. I just what can I say about it, man? It's Pirates of the Caribbean. It's
Yeah.
an iconic attraction. I feel like every ride's iconic at this point, but um, it really is though. It's a very iconic attraction. It's very cool. It needs some work recently, just because it's just the attraction's
Like
kind of
maintenance
been
or
maintenance.
oh.
Yeah, yeah, no. I mean, it's good. Like it's a good ride. It's just maintenance rise. Stuff isn't really working properly, but
Mhm.
that's beside the point. Um, it's just it's a good ride, man. can't. The set pieces, and the story behind that is really cool too. That was supposed to be like a kind of wax museum, kind of like history on like pirates and stuff like that, and they were, you know, gonna do all that stuff, and then it just kind of came to it's like, well, why don't we just revisit this, take a look at it again, and then kind of became what it is now. But yeah, it's so cool. It's just so cool, and then just the overall theming of it. I love pirates as well. Like just I just love pirates. I think there's like it's a cool thing. It's a cool concept. Just because Peter Pan was one of my favorite films growing up. Um, and it's just I loved Captain Hook and all that stuff. I think that's kind of what got me into pirates was Captain Hook. So the fact that I love that and everything, it just kind of pieces all together, and it's just nostalgic. Something that my family would always kind of get on, and so yeah, I mean, it's a great attraction. Like you can't really say anything else about it. It's just a great attraction.
Yeah. And then, you know what? It's funny you say that because my number 5 is
It's
Pirates of the
Pirates of the
Caribbean.
Caribbean. Okay, all
Yeah.
right, I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect
And
that.
it's funny you mentioned because I didn't know that Peter Pan was like your introduction into like pirates and
Yeah,
stuff like
kind
that.
of.
'Cause
I'm
for me, that
pretty sure
was,
that's what that was. Yeah.
yeah. When I first went, my first trip to Disneyland I was like 3 years old. So this is before California Adventure and all that. And we went on Peter Pan's Flight and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm.
That was it. Because I loved pirates that much, and Captain Hook, and then you got pirates and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, the story you were talking about the wax museum, I
Mm-hmm.
love the story of that where they they were like, well, we don't have an exact like floor plan of what's going to go in here, but we have a general idea of what we're gonna
Yeah.
build,
Mm-hmm.
and they literally just scored it on the ground and they just dug it, like they dug the basement where the grotto is
Yeah.
now, and they just said, well, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We don't know what's going in here specifically, but we know that this is generally what we're gonna build, where we're gonna build it and stuff. So that was a cool story, and this how ingenious it is. That's like we have to worry about capacity. We have to worry about getting people on the ride. Boats. There's nothing else it could be. It has to be a
Yeah.
boat. Using the waterfall
Definitely.
as a way of getting people down
To the
into
grotto.
the
Yeah,
into
which
the other
is,
thing.
and the fact that you had a restaurant in there too. It's like
Yeah, I know. It's like how many functions can we put
for
in
real.
this building? And yeah, like you said, the set design of it, I will say, even with Rise of the Resistance, that entrance scene with
Mm-hmm.
that or the AT-AT scene, the greatest scene of any Disney attraction I've ever been on has got to be that that the Wicked Winch scene, the ship battle
Yeah,
with the fort.
that is so cool, and it smells so good in there.
Yeah,
It's
you
so
get
good in
all the
that. Yeah.
you got the yeah,
As soon as
and
there's two great smells, and I think it's the fog that you actually smell when it's the
mhm.
ship battle. But yeah, as soon as you enter those doors, smell the salt water and all that stuff, the chlorine, and all that stuff, kind of. But
So much so that people have
candles
candles.
of
I mean,
it,
people have successful candle companies
because
making
it's a
that.
good smell. It really is. It's very bad for you, but it's a good smell. And
You're
then
telling us we're all just smelling the toxins.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's yeah, that and the fog. It's just like God, you go in there and you're just like, wow, those are
Now, have you been inside the the scene there when they don't have the fog
no,
machines working?
no.
No, it really the room is a lot smaller than you think it is. And then
That makes
that's just
sense,
such a
probably, yeah,
great.
because it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense actually.
Yeah, but I mean that just shows you how great that scene is that
Mhm.
it's it feels so much bigger
And the fact that
when
you can
all the
hit,
effects are working.
the fact that you can hit with can get hit with water in the face at any moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fun thing too.
Yeah,
It's always when I'm on it that it just seems to go so slow. And I was like, okay, that's
and
I'm
it's
gonna get hit, I
the
know.
range is funny with those too, because there was one point where we were past it completely, turning into the town, right? And the one like right next to me goes off, and I get hit in the face. I'm like, I didn't know they do it all the way out here. I was like,
I know. Yeah.
that is crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
That's funny. Yeah.
that's interesting.
So
So that's your number
that's my
five.
number 5.
Okay. My number five is Autotopia. or Autopia is what people call it. It's actually the name, but I call it Autopia. Yeah, you didn't see this one coming,
Really?
did you? Yeah.
No, I
Um,
didn't. No.
Honestly, yeah, this was my favorite ride when I was little.
Yeah.
Um,
No, yeah, yeah.
we actually talked about this. This before they did the Honda, when it was Chevron. Um, was that was the best version.
It was yeah.
I mean,
Let me tell you about those pesky beasts.
that was it was great, and that's one of the reasons I loved this ride so much growing up. Um, was the fact that there was that, and then just the two tracks. It was crazy. Um, yeah, this ride was so great, and the license were actually different. Um,
Yeah, uh-huh.
the everything, man, everything about that ride when it was like just Chevron was just so cool. And then you on the big board they had like the teenagers that couldn't drive, right? They were driving so like
Yes.
bad.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just remembered those. I remember, yeah, and they like one of them hit the moonliner
Yeah,
and like it would teeter.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I
Wow.
love those things. Those things, and every time I'd go in there, I I would hate going in the tunnel and stopping there. One when you couldn't see the any of the ones in there, right? Any of the like little animations in there. Um, or when you just couldn't see the board.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, yeah, when
always
you were
wanted
up
to
in the
yeah, I always wanted to see the big board.
yeah,
Um,
because they had all the jokes and stuff like that
yeah,
and yeah.
it
Oh
was, and then this was also before your boy. You're soy bird.
God, I know no we have no relation at all. Oh my
um, yeah, so I mean that
yeah.
ride just when I was little, man, that was just maybe it's pure off nostalgia. I mean, I still love that ride. I still
I
love
don't
going on
think
that ride,
so.
but
I think yeah, no, I think that's it's not it was really clever.
mhm,
The little those little vignettes they used to do, the Pepper's Ghost thing, I mean,
yeah,
those were genuinely funny. I mean
yes,
the I still quote I still quote the light is green. I still
I
will do
love
if the
that
light is
moment.
green. If
Yeah.
somebody I was like, the light is green, I got a place to go, people see.
And he's just not moving. He's not having it.
And you know what's funny about that is like after funny enough, after we had that conversation, I looked him up just to watch him again. And as an adult, you're like, oh, that's actually funny. Like
Yeah,
the
because
the,
it's
the
about
scene of
humor.
like it's yeah, and like the kid like the new car with the old like, just done with life car was just yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but I spent a lot of allowance money when I was a kid buying up those little cars,
We
the Chevron
have them,
cars.
and I don't know. I think they're in the garage. But we have them, and yeah, those were.
Yeah, no, I have one that's sitting on my desk in the other room,
Hmm,
and it's yeah, I love it.
I love it too, man.
Those
It's
were
great. The
okay.
Autotopia is my favorite ride.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but
yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's number five, so I have more obviously. But as a little kid, that was my favorite ride going on there, and had to do it every time. Had to do it.
yeah. And talking about like the wait in those days, I didn't really worry about waiting because like as you like you said,
Yeah.
if you could see the board or you were in that tunnel,
Hmm.
it was fine. And even if you weren't, you were surrounded by Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
The monorail would be going by or the train would be coming by or so
It was a good time. It was a good time, and then they freaking replaced it with Honda, and Honda was like, "Well, we're gonna be different," and I'm like, "No, you shouldn't be different."
I don't want the robot that can't walk up a flight of
Asimo,
stairs to be
Asimo.
telling
Well,
me
that
to
was cool in Innovations. That was cool in
I never
Innovations.
saw that.
I
Yeah.
miss that place. That okay. So Tomorrowland was my place to be when I was little
Dude,
because it was
dude, yeah, rock
Autotopia
it.
and Innovations where you got to play video games at Disneyland. Like, how is
Hmm.
that not? You know,
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss it. And then they had that whole life thing where you would take a picture and like you'd text some questions on that stuff, and it would do that. I love those things. Those things are so fun. I would spend
Those
hours in Innovations.
yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Innoventions when it was like
Mm-hmm.
2007 around like that time when that the Dream Home came
Dream
in
Home came out. Yeah.
was amazing. Yeah. No, Tomorrowland,
Mm.
I love Tomorrowland. I wish it was what
It used to
what I
be.
remember it. Yeah, what it used to be. So, I
Yeah.
totally agree with it. I miss Interventions. I
It-
do miss that.
It's good. I mean,
Yeah.
Launch Bay's cool, but it's not Interventions.
It's not Interventions.
I don't
And you just
understand
feel
why
sad.
I don't understand why they took it out. I really don't, because you can't get rid of that building. Like we
It would be
it's I think it's like the surface, because you can't get rid of the people mover track because you can't get rid of the interventions because the people mover track I think went
always
through
built
intervention.
into
It's
it.
bit
Yeah,
so
no,
you
it's
can't get rid of both. So it's kind of like, why'd you take it out? But I don't know. I dig.
yeah. No, we could have a whole
Yeah.
conversation about Tomorrowland because it's been 20 something years since Rocket Rod's closed.
You are
And
hopeful. You are hopeful at D23, man.
that was my biggest disappointment. I think that's why I was kind of like, but yeah, 2024, I think they will announce something.
We'll see.
I
We'll
still,
find out.
we'll see.
We got
Yeah,
a plan. We got a plan for
we gotta,
D23 in
oh,
place. So.
yeah. I love the people mover.
Mhm.
Heck, I would take Rocket Rods. I don't care. Just let me stand on the tracks. I'll walk it. I don't.
We'll
But
see.
that's I like your reasoning for that. Number 5 was good.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're on we're top 4 now.
Yeah. We're
Number 4. Okay, so I'm going across the Esplanade. I'm going to the only truly great attraction at California Adventure. That's Radiator Springs Racers.
Mm. So this is why you're
I
surprised. This is why you're surprised it wasn't on the list.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really thought it would be.
So when you made the joke about Luigi's before off camera before we started filming, I thought, I was like, oh, Racers is there too. I was like, yeah, but I have recently been okay with not getting on Racers when I go to Disneyland now, and that's because one, it always breaks down, and two, it's just it only fits 6 people in a car, so it's a very slow moving attraction in terms of getting people on. And 120 minutes, man, I just don't know. 2 hours, that's crazy.
And I'm on the same boat with you because ever since Lightning Lane has changed I mean, not that I could ever get up early enough to get a fast pass for it to begin with, but
100%.
but there was something about the we used to always do the single rider line. Just because, waiting 120 minutes is just not, it's not in the cards for me. It's just not something I'm going to do. But
it's a good ride. Love the ride. It's very well done. I like it. Just, I don't know. For 120 minutes, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. If it's your California, if you're just coming on your own in this one day, one park thing, and this is your California Adventure Day, you wait the hour 20 whatever minutes. But if you're a local like us, I don't know if you need to do it.
Plus, it breaks down, and it's kind of like a gamble if you get in.
True.
Get in line, you're like, I don't know if I'll make it.
Yeah, and because they're so used to it, there's no compensation. They're not gonna, unless you had a lightning lane and stuff. But yeah. For me, this is growing up. We used to do a lot of road trips and stuff, and this was kind of like Radiator Springs Racers has that feel of like what we would do. Like we would drive into these little towns at dinner time, eat at a diner like Flo's, and then
which good food, by the way.
Go through it. I love it. Yeah, no, top 5 food. Yeah.
No, don't give it away. It's a whole other podcast.
Okay, sorry. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it does a great job. The animatronics are great. I think it has enough variety, whether you go into the left or the right, whether you go tires or paint. I've only done paint like 3 times in the 10 years it's been open.
Yeah, it is very, very hard to get that.
I literally, one time I was doing it because I was like, I want to go on this. So much so that the cast members saw me on the single rider line and they're like, you guys are really like, me and my girlfriend were on it and we kept going around because I was like, I need the paint scene. I need to go on this. The cast members were like, you've been on this a lot. It's like, what are you trying to do? And I said, I need to get on the paint scene. And they literally went and said, okay, next, get him. He wants to do the paint scene. So they got me to the spot that always
because you need to
goes
because the first car goes to Luigi's, the second car needs to go. Yeah.
So they were like, okay, this time you're gonna get. We went on it 5 times.
Oh my
and then God. This was a mission of mine. I was like, I've got.
I mean, it's a fun ride to ride 5 times. So
yeah, because I love the reason why I like that side is because you have when you're coming around the what do they call
The
it? The
bend.
butte thing. Yeah, when you're coming around the big bend
Mm-hmm.
there, you're on the high point.
Mm-hmm.
And that view, when you turn that corner and you see the whole land from that angle, it's it's just nothing. It's
Yeah,
unlike
it is. It
anything you're gonna
is.
get in that.
I like being on Luigi's side though when you come around the bend because you're like right next to like you're kind of parallel to the floor, kind
Yeah,
of.
no, yeah,
Yeah, and it's kind of like oh this is really cool, and you feel like you're going fast too. Like that actually does go pretty fast. I think I don't know the actual speed, um, that
I
that
think the
tops
top
out at,
speed, I think it tops out at 48.
which is fast. Besides Incredicoaster, that's the fastest
I think that it, yeah,
ride
yeah, yeah.
ride at Disneyland.
Hmm.
Cause we know you ain't going. I mean, you still again we joke about this all the time, but you still drive there faster.
True. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going
But
60 or above, you go faster than any ride. So
who's, yeah, and on a California freeway, who's driving 65?
yeah.
Yeah. But
So
no, yeah, I think it's great. I will agree with you. It breaks down a lot and it
well,
does
far
have
too often.
far too often, and the effects are kind of hit or miss.
Hmm.
And it really
Oh,
pains me when
it's
you're,
been run down recently, man.
yeah. And and they keep saying supply problems, like supply chains. Sure, I don't know. But tell that to the family that came
From
in, and
Colorado.
this was their family from Colorado who came to see this show, and Mater is just no eyes, just
Mouth doesn't
static.
move.
Mouth doesn't move.
Doesn't come in
Um,
from the tractor scene
yeah,
originally.
yeah,
Uh,
and even Sheriff hasn't moved in a while
yeah, he
either.
just kind
So
of pokes out there. He's like,
yeah, so if it's working perfectly,
it's a
it's great.
good ride. Love it.
It's solid. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So that was your number four, right?
number 4. Yeah.
Okay. So that's my number four is Space Mountain.
Okay.
That's where my space for Space Mountain kind of comes in ranks in here for me. I feel like you kind of knew this was gonna be down here though, like somewhere.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
expected it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is about where I thought it would be for you.
Okay. Okay. I'm curious to see if we have the same number three, but yeah, I love Space Mountain. Like it's something that I tell you whenever we go, it's like we got to get on it, and everything. And this was something that um, you guys, this was like your last ride, right? You and your girlfriend would kind of do, kind of your tradition type thing.
Yeah, because it's like we don't want to waste our time,
Mm-hmm.
in the park doing that. But if it's 40 minutes at closing, yeah, we'll do that.
So this
You
is
know.
why I wanted to tell you I disagree with your hour wait thing. I love this ride so much, right? I do. I waited, so me and my girlfriend waited an hour and a half. This ride had broken down, and I wanted to be the first one on it. So we waited an hour and a half for this ride to come back up. We were
In the
just
queue?
sitting there. Well, no, they were not letting people in the queue,
Oh,
so we
I
were
see.
like right outside near Pizza Port entrance, and or Pizza Planet. I'm sorry, I still call it Pizza Port, Pizza Planet. I'm sorry.
It'll always be pizza.
Yeah, we waited um completely like there for an hour and a half and just kind of talked and chilled and um yeah, we waited, man, and then we were about ready to leave. We were gonna leave because I was like, well, because that was the last ride. That was the last ride we wanted to get on, which is why we waited so long. And I was like, well, it's like I want to get on it, but we got to go home. So let's just, and as soon as we were getting up, it went. So I was like, oh, I got booked it. This kid in front of me tried to go in front of me, and there was a lady who had just been waiting there who got there like 30 minutes before, and she was like, how long you guys been waiting for? Like an hour and a half, and she goes, oh. She goes, oh my. She goes, that's dedication. She goes, well, I probably would have waited like 40 minutes and then left. She goes, so she goes, so props to you guys. So she was talking to us a little bit, and she was like, oh, that's cool. And when the kid cut in front of us, she goes, excuse me. She goes, they've been waiting here for an hour and a half. They're gonna go first. And I was like, you. I appreciate that. Kind of sucked though because I was the first person in the car, which was cool. I've never ever been first in line for
Really?
any
Oh,
attraction. Um, so I was literally the first person on. They got me. We got on the first front of the row and everything. And the set music didn't work. We were
oh,
going in complete dark, in complete silence.
oh no.
So that kind of sucked. It was still fun, but you just hear you can hear the carts going,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like, oh, well, at least I was first.
Yeah.
But
The
but
guy that cut you is sitting there jamming to the music in
yeah,
the next car.
yeah.
Like,
Um,
oh.
so it was really cool. But yeah, I love that ride so much that I'm willing to wait an hour and a half.
But see, you were waiting. Now, I would wait if I was sitting like outside of it, but
Uh-huh.
waiting in that queue, because
Yeah,
I've
that
done that
probably would have
before.
been a different story. Yeah.
I've done that where it's broken down and we've been like, let's just wait it out. And we waited probably about an hour. I mean, it wasn't as long as you guys waiting, but
You gotta
uh
wait that half. You gotta wait that hour and a half.
yeah, wait, that's the
That's the one. That's the
that's,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. The queue. I agree with you 100%. Is not. It's eyesore.
Hmm.
So much because there's nothing to look at.
There's none to look at. I
So.
my favorite part of the queue is the in the Starcade in the extended queue, that mural up on
Mhm.
top is
It's
designed
very
was
cool.
done by is done by Tim Delaney, who, if you know him, he's
Yes.
the guy who did Space Mountain in
Yeah.
Paris and Living Seas, and he
Very
did concept
beautiful
work.
mural.
So he's such a good artist about it and stuff. So that would be
But
that's the only thing I like about it. But you can only stare
and
at
they
that
and
for so
they
long.
they try to fix the queue with Disney Play, the Disney Play app, which uh,
Yeah.
literally it's still very new. It's came out only a couple years ago.
Mhm.
And they painted the symbols on do the game, which is only fun for maybe like 20 minutes, to be honest.
Right. Yeah.
Up until you get that first race, and then it's like, I don't want to play this again.
I'm done. Yeah.
So I mean, and that thing kills your battery, so it's kind of like,
Exactly. So
you
if you're
know,
waiting that hour and 30 minutes,
yeah. Oh, your battery's dead at
you
that
better
point.
have that fuel rod. Yeah, you
Yeah.
better have a fuel rod with you.
Um, but yeah, that's my number four.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good spot. It's probably where it should have been if it wasn't for my number three,
Mm.
which is Rise of the Resistance.
Whoa, and that's number three?
This is my number three.
What? Okay, so we
Yeah.
did not have the same number. I thought we'd have the same number three. That's interesting. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm curious what your number three is then, because for me, Rise I think is too new. So I think that novelty of it.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. It is probably the most comprehensive, complete story of any
It's a
Disney attraction I've
it's
ever
a
been on.
okay, so here's the argument that I have with people. A lot of people say that it does not count, and the length of the ride starts when the vehicle begins, right? That's what everybody kind of thinks. That is not true. Um, there's a reason it's called pre-show.
Hmm. Yeah.
It is a 15-minute ride. Because technically, honestly, realistically, yeah, the pre-show starts at when Ray talks. That is the pre-show. That's when the ride actually starts. Um, and I mean, if you're kind of gauging, I guess, with the line, it can be more than 50. But we had, so when I went on the cast preview for Rise of Resistance, um, which was awesome, was phenomenal, because that is the only time I will ever hear nobody said a word in that entire line. From the pre-show, from the moment the pre-show, nobody had said anything besides gasps. So that is
Oh,
honestly a moment I will cherish forever, because that's something I will never get to hear again.
that's a cool.
It
Yeah.
was very cool. Um, so we timed it when we went, because even cast members are saying this is a 15-minute ride. We timed it when we went from um the from the pre-show to the end of the ride, literally when we exited the gates, and it is a 15-minute ride. 15-minute ride. You start the pre-show, then it's the ship come in, and you go to the, because I mean, like, I guess you can say the whole thing's a pre-show, I guess, with Ray and the ship, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, that's just that experience is crazy.
It's an experience, and that's the thing that I think people, because the stretching, it's kind of along the lines of the
Stretching
stretching room
room.
in the Haunted Mansion. It yeah, it's a part of the queue, yeah, but it's a pre-show. It's setting it up, and you can't get more complete than that. Because from my favorite thing, and it does this so well, is it really does immerse you
Yeah. Oh,
in
it
the
so much
place.
so that it fakes you out when you go on because it's like, okay, when you get on the ship, you're like, okay, cool, it's gonna go on the other side, right? You're gonna be on the side.
Mhm.
But you go through the same door, and if because you're not thinking about it, right? Obviously,
Right.
afterwards, you're like, oh, okay, it just spins. But like when you're like with the moment you get on and everything, you're just so like you're kind of overwhelmed with everything. So you're kind of like, oh, this is so
Yeah.
cool, like, and everything. And then like you're facing, and it's like, no, it's the same door you came in. You're like,
It's
how,
my
and it's like, what?
one of my favorite memories. We took my girlfriend's little sister
Hmm.
on this and for the first time, and we were in the ship, and the door opens on the same one, and she was like it was genuine, like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
And my favorite thing to do is to go on that ride and just sit like this and watch all the families from Denver look at the fake door and stand at it, thinking,
Yes.
"Oh, I'm the smart one. I'm gonna get out of here first." And then they all have to spin around, and just the amazement on their face
Yeah.
is
It's
just amazing.
and it's that is yeah, and you said it right. Like it's good. Like I love watching. That's my favorite thing to do is watch new people's reactions with like on
Yeah,
the ride. Like it's cool. Like I've taken my girlfriend's brother, and I've like even when I go with friends and everything. Like it's to see people's reactions is so cool when you know what's gonna happen. You're like, yeah, there's magic to that too, where it's like, dude, I want to see this person's react. I want to see like because you know how it made you feel. So you're like, it, see somebody else's reaction, and every time it does not fail. Their reaction is
it
like,
is.
whoa,
Mhm.
this is cool.
It is.
And if it's not the ship,
And
it's the stormtroopers right after that.
right, or it's the AT-AT scene with
Yeah.
all the walkers and stuff.
I mean, when I first saw that, I was like, wow.
It's the way that they put you in the story, the way that they the ride vehicle is a part of the story, is it's a prisoner transport vehicle.
And it's a
You know,
huge
our
space.
It's a huge space. Yeah, I love how they have like the ride vehicles that are going to the load, going back to dispatch, are coming in the same
Yes.
room as you, and it's a
It's,
part of the story. And
and like literally, like again, they do so many fake outs, but the whole thing, like the interrogation cell, like the whole, like if you,
mm,
the first time you get on, you're like, okay, well, like genuinely, where do we go? Like like, is it just gonna
yeah,
open up? Is it dude? You gonna do like the ship where you open the cell door and we're out there? No, like they
right.
cut out like a section of the wall, and you're like, dude, what the hell? You're like,
And
what
you can't
is?
see the seam.
Yo, you
Yeah, you
can't.
don't see the seam of where the door is. So I
No.
don't even know how that works really, even to this point. The funny thing is this, so my girlfriend has this thing that she likes to do where she likes to fake the other people out. And so she starts walking towards the front door that we just came out of to just see what they all think. And obviously then they start thinking that, oh, they must know what's going on, and then
It is
the door
so
opens.
cool, and just to
Hmm.
see all that stuff, and you're just like, how big is this thing? And
Yeah,
it's big, man.
it's big, and you see it from the parking structure, just how big this building
The
is.
fact that it is also it's 2 stories too, because you
Hmm.
go up.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's the only thing where you're like, oh, because we didn't even talk about the drop yet, but they do such a great job of, like, when you go up a roller coaster, you have the lift hill, and you
yeah.
know what comes up must come down. I don't think you feel that way when you're in this attraction. I don't think you think, oh, we're going up a lift. That means we got to come down.
I actually did though.
Oh, you
When
did? You
I
thought,
came up, well, because I was like, well, I was like, there's two ways you could do this, right? The way that Haunted Mansion does it, or dropping. And I was like, I guess in my head I was like, maybe you could kind of slide down, but I don't really see. But the trackless ride vehicles, I don't think it's possible for them to actually go at
yeah,
a
no,
slope.
no, they
Um,
can't change elevation at all.
yeah.
They have to
So,
stay.
um, I mean, obviously I didn't think of that at the time, but yeah. So no, when I knew we were dropping was I think I was I guess I'm the only one because I've talked to everybody about this, and I guess I'm the only one that actually knows. Like, like I looked, like I was looking at the actual thing right when you go in the escape pod, you see the escape pod drop like in front of you,
Mhm.
like in the scene. So I was like, oh, okay, well, cool, we're gonna drop. Okay, I guess I'm the only one that caught that because
Nobody,
like
yeah,
in
nobody thinks it.
yeah, so I was like, okay, and then like, so I was ready because even like when I dropped, I was like, uh-oh, and my mom was like, what? And we dropped, and I was like, so I was like, oh, okay, and that's my favorite thing to do on when I go with new people is to watch the reaction. And
Oh,
I went
yeah.
with a mutual friend of ours. We met at work. Um, I went on, and as soon as we got in the escape pod, I turned and I just look at her, and she goes, "Why are you staring at me?" And then we dropped, and she goes, "You knew that was gonna happen." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I did." I was like,
And they get upset like we're gonna tell them
"Yeah, I know, right?" I'm
what's
like,
gonna happen. I'm like, no, no, no. My favorite story, because again, it's that same thing. We've taken my parents, we've taken my girlfriend and her family, and we always just want to. We just are watching, and I love it. One time though, we went, and it was me and her, and we had a family from Japan,
Oh,
and so they didn't speak any English or anything like that, but their reactions were just like pure joy. Like everything was, but that
it's
drop
great.
they didn't they didn't even expect it. So when it happened, they were like they had lost it. Just like it was like that happy scream and stuff.
Yeah,
But
it's really cool.
it is. And what I like on the technical side of it too is that it's one big screen. So all
Yeah,
three of the bays get the same view, which kind of makes it a little bit more
which is
believable as
funny
opposed to like Star
because
Tours.
I also talked about this with my brother too, like recently when we got on this. I was like, "Damn, like that's cool, but it has to be a pain. If there's a dead pixel on that screen, you are screwed."
It's a projector though, right?
No, it's an
But it,
LED screen.
oh, is it really? Oh, so it's
Yes.
like the Mandalorian kind of thing where it's
Yeah,
like a
yeah, kind of.
oh, okay.
Um, it's an LED screen. It isn't. I so like, I mean,
Dang.
I don't think you can get a dead pixel on LED. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Like a panel might go out or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Because
But
I've seen on signs you'll have like
if you I mean, if you get a dead pixel though, you're like, I mean, with the space scene, you can get away with it, I guess. But if like a TIE fighter's flying through it or something, like it's yeah, and that's expensive because you have to replace the whole screen.
mhm.
So I mean, that's a
Oh,
gamble. But um,
yeah. What
yeah,
a it's just a great
it is
it's
good.
a
It's a good
great
ride.
ride. It's yeah. I think as time progresses, if it can keep
Hmm.
that momentum of that, I think it'll
Interesting. I'm
move
surprised
up.
you put that at number three. Okay. Again, I thought we would have the same number three. Cause
What's your number
I
three?
thought we shared the same sentiment here. To be honest with you, it's Big
I,
Thunder Mountain,
oh,
man.
oh,
It's Big Thunder Mountain.
oh,
You know,
yeah.
we should have, we went on this ride 5 times. I
I know.
mean,
I love this ride. This is not on my list. I'm sad to say.
really?
It totally
Oh,
skipped my
Steve.
mind.
Oh
And
my gosh.
You know what? Looking back on it, I probably would have switched it out with Snow White for Big Thunder or
Hmm.
something. Because it's a great ride. But yeah,
It's a great ride. I love this ride, and honestly, I think the reason it is higher than Space Mountain is because I feel like it is a lot more fun than Space Mountain. To be honest, I mean, when you're turning on that long bank, nothing is. It's so funny because everybody's kind of like, some people are doing like their like fake like enjoyment scream, like, oh yeah, this is so cool, and then it turns into like actual terrifying scream because you're like, oh my god, I'm getting pushed, like it's so funny. It's just long enough to where you're like, oh my god, this is like, oh my, I'm moving. And then the goat, when you do
we do the good
when you
effect.
do the trick, yeah, where you just look at
Yeah,
the goat and your stomach drops. Um,
that's great.
it's good, and for the refurbishment too. I felt like when they added the dynamite explosion,
Perfect.
was a pretty
Yeah.
cool effect. Yeah,
Hmm.
when it works.
When it works, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. Um, it's just an overall great ride, and the queue is not like it goes by fast.
It goes by. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that. It goes by fast, and then it's a great queue.
Mhm. It
You
is. It's really
really,
cool.
you talk about immersion. That's an immersive queue.
Frontierland in general, I feel like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't get any intrusion from anything. It
Mm-mm.
just feels like its own little world. And I love how you kind of wind your way down into
Yeah,
the to that little town, and of course you got Rainbow Ridge there and stuff.
it's really
Um,
cool. There's the the effects are cool, and I mean obviously it loads so much, so that's why the queue goes fast. But um, but when it piles up, it can be a long queue, but it's a very fun ride. It's so cool, and it's just that noise. You hear that rattling noise, man. And it's on. So
yeah,
that's
I've,
interesting. I really thought this was gonna be like, because I was like, I haven't heard it yet. And I was like, I know he likes it too, so I was like, it's got to be like Emery or somewhere,
I'm
right?
I'm really ashamed that I don't. It's not on my list. It is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite attractions. It really is. It's
Mhm.
such a great experience. And yeah, like you said, the dynamite scene is perfect and has that smell. I don't know
Yeah,
if
it's
when
like a
they added it, but
charcoal
yeah, it's
smell.
the burning of Rome. If
Yeah,
anyone knows of burning of Rome from Spaceship Earth, it's the same smell. So
it's just crazy.
it's great.
Um,
Yeah. What a
Interesting.
group.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised. I totally,
Well,
totally missed it.
we're down here to the top two,
Top two.
and I haven't heard. I don't know if I'm gonna hear it from you, but I'm curious to see.
I think you are gonna hear it. I think you're gonna hear it right now.
Okay.
Uh, Indiana
Okay,
Jones.
that is my number two.
That was. Oh, it is.
That is
Okay,
literally
good.
my number two.
We finally got one.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
wait,
that's why I was like, I haven't heard this one yet. I know you've expressed the same sentiments that I have to you.
it is.
It's a great ride.
It's a great ride. It
Um,
is.
and before Rise, that was probably it's a complex attraction.
Mhm. Breaks down a lot.
Yes.
Still,
Yes.
20 something,
And
27 years
it's
later.
not even a a, a trackless ride.
No, no.
Can you imagine if
See,
that thing was trackless? Oh my god, that thing would never be up and running.
it would never. You know, either that or you'd be riding it like this the whole
Yeah,
way through because the
literally.
little mechanism broke or something.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, immersion is a 10. You're
Mm-hmm.
in it.
That
The queue
queue.
is amazing. And I don't know when they started doing where you queue down outside and then they call it you kind of they funnel you into the actual
Yeah, I don't know.
temple
I
and stuff.
feel like a couple years back. It's
Because when I
been
was a yeah,
yeah. It was recent.
because when
Yeah.
I yeah, that's what I was saying. Because when I was a kid, we used to. I remember waiting in the
Yeah, yeah.
back
You used to
in the bat room,
wait in the.
and
You know I know when they started doing that actually.
when was it?
Pandemic because they
I
weren't
feel like they did it before then.
I don't know though because it was
Huh?
because I remember waiting in there for sure and because it was one of the only attractions that had actually kind of like an indoor queue.
Mhm.
Um, code restrictions you can't do. It has to be 6 feet apart, all that stuff. So in order to minimize like you could do it outside, but you can't really like because it's enclosed, right? Um,
Really enclosed too,
they had
especially in
to
like those.
yes it's very narrow very tight because it's supposed to be Indiana Jones temple. So in order to do that, that's why because if you noticed when you went during the pandemic, right, it was you're like wow I just kind of go through the temple really fast, like I don't really get to see anything because you're just
Mhm.
walking through it. It's because of that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and that might be. And I think at other times we would just get backed up.
yeah,
I think too, because
yeah,
when you're in that, I don't know what they call it, the chamber room with the rope and the guy
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah,
the base.
that's
That that area would always kind of back up and stuff.
yeah.
Um,
And I think they were just like this kind of just works, so we're just gonna keep it.
mhm. Yeah, I mean it's a good cue. I think
Okay.
the ride system is just ingenious. Let's
Yeah.
take Star Tours and put it on a dark ride
And
vehicle
the fact that
or slot car.
it's weight based, so if you have a light vehicle with light people, you're gonna get tossed.
Yeah,
And it kind of is different. It does have a randomizing mechanism to it too, where it'll jolt you and shake you different ways.
yeah,
So
yeah. Because
that's really cool.
we've done that when we were. And it's funny you say that, like the weight thing, because I've definitely felt that where
Hmm.
we've had a lot lighter cars, and if you're in the back,
You get
you're gonna get
thrown.
you're getting thrown around. Yeah,
My
and
back one time on that ride was I was like, dude, my back. I was like, my god, like my back legitimately hurts. Like I gotta sit down a little bit because
yeah,
it was bad,
yeah. Because if
but in a
not, then
fun
you're
way.
just flying out of it. Yeah, no, yeah, it's like Matterhorn kind of thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're flying out of. If you're on the side there, you're like moving and
yeah, you're
you're
getting
just
like
trying to
literally like
stay. Yeah, you're just trying to stay up. It's so detailed too.
it is
Just
intense. It's
all of
so
the
cool.
so cool. The fire effects and every ounce of
Well,
it is
when it
well
works.
when it works. Yeah. Lately it seems like it's been doing okay, especially when you're going down towards
It's
the
been trucking. It's
yeah
been trucking. Yeah.
yeah. Well. yeah, we can go into a whole conversation about the snake not working and
I wish that
all
thing
that
worked.
stuff.
I wish the whole attraction worked properly because because it's something I told you about too. Remember when I went on it recently with my girlfriend? Um, we had been on it already several times, so it's kind of like we know what to expect, right? We know what's not gonna work with all this stuff. And there was this guy. He came with his friends, and he was like riding it and all this stuff, and he was telling them like, "Oh, it's like one of the best tracks. You'll love it. It's great. You love Indiana Jones. It'd be fun." And as soon as we were done with the ride, come down from the music starts finishing up and everything, and we're kind of waiting to get loaded off. And he goes, "That's it?" He goes, "That was the attraction?" And he goes, "No, no, man, you got to see it like when it's actually working. Like it's so good when it's actually working. Like he goes, it stopped. It kind of sucked right now." He goes, "But trust me, when the whole thing's working, it's so cool." And I was like, man, I was like, and that's when it kind of hit me. I was like, man, I never really thought about like people's experience like gets like taken away on this ride
Hmm. Yeah,
because it's just it doesn't work properly. Like
yeah,
it's I don't know if this has been happening to you lately, but every time I get to the boulder scene, music stops. Music kind of goes in and out.
yeah, yeah. You don't hear him. He
Hmm.
doesn't say. You don't hear Indiana Jones's dialogue at all.
No, and then
And
when you're going down, sometimes the music doesn't play. Music will stop. You'll stop right there, kind of. It's like
oh, in the
in
void,
the
and you're
pitch
just in
black,
the
yeah,
total dark, and you just feel you're gonna get rear-ended.
yeah, and you're just
Yeah,
and it just sucks, man, because it is a
it's
phenomenal ride when it's working.
yeah, yeah. It's a real shame that it's not. Hopefully, when it gets back from its refurb,
Yeah, at the time of
it'll
recording,
be.
it is being refurbished, and thank God because it needs it.
It needs it, yeah. But I think even with Rise of the Resistance, I think this is probably one of the most quintessential Disneyland
Hmm.
attractions. It is, yeah. You're
I
not
mean,
gonna. I don't think it's. Yeah, there's nothing that can really compare.
no,
Honestly, at
no.
Disneyland
I mean, not
technologically.
trackless anyway. Yeah, because I mean, trackless is just all on the. Well, I mean, I think Indiana Jones was the first ride that was all computer, right?
With the
Yeah.
system, yeah. Um,
So it's. I mean, they used to have an ice maker machine that would shake hot ice to make it seem like boulders and everything was crumbling down. I mean, that's just so cool. I wish I could have seen that.
yeah, and that's the thing. I
Hopefully
mean,
they bring it back. I don't think it
that
will
would
because
be
I
nice.
think I think they talked to an Imagineer and the Imagineer was like, yeah, don't even get your hopes up. Like that is never gonna.
Yeah,
That
that's yeah. Tony.
yeah, I think that foundation's cracked or something like that, right? Like it doesn't work or something
I
like
think.
that.
Well, the problem with it was is that it didn't defrost when it hit
Yeah,
the bottom, and so it's like we couldn't
water
send
damaging
the
and
water
everything.
back up.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it just kind of destroyed everything. But there's a lot of that like early like this is like the time where Disney starts realizing that queues and you need to have things to entertain people. So they had all the stuff in the queue with like the boulder or the
yeah,
ropes and the stuff like that. There was this kind of let's put people in the story more. So they create um, the just the whole idea of making the ride vehicle was just I don't think we've seen anything like that.
nonsense.
That
No,
that ride vehicle is insane. But
it is one of the best rides there, and I'm such a shame that it's closed, but thank God because it needs it.
it does need it, yeah. And hopefully it'll look a little bit better.
Hopefully, we'll see.
But
We'll
yeah,
see.
we'll see.
We'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
Um.
Um,
All right. So I guess we've made it. Right. We've made it
we made
down to
it.
the 2 hours later. We've made it.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Um.
To oh man, yeah, number one,
Number one.
and I think you're gonna be surprised by what
I've
my
been
number one
surprised with your
is.
list actually a lot, so we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this one's really gonna do it. That one.
Whoa. My number
Yeah.
7.
Your number seven's my number one. It
Okay.
is like I agree with everything you said. It is painful in a good way.
Yes. Very so.
Um, but the history behind it
Hmm.
it's the perfect marriage of it has like that thrill ride, so it's still like hip and like people still enjoy it, and then it's got this just great legacy to it.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Walt Disney's on vacation, or he's filming Third Man on the Mountain, that movie that
Yeah.
no one's ever seen,
And
which is
it's
actually a good movie, but and he just goes and sends a postcard and says, "Build this,"
yeah.
and and the fact that like they didn't do research trips to Switzerland to like look at the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
So if you look at pictures of the real Matterhorn, you're like, oh, that's like if you see it from like every angle, you're like, that doesn't look like the Matterhorn at all. But they just looked at pictures and built this thing. And there's no computers,
No.
it's just all models and drawings. And
Hmm.
the fact they were able to build it and it's still convincing to this day, you can't. I think that's something so
No, you're right. It
quintessentially
is.
Disney.
It is. It's so great, and the fact that too, the story of that it's capped out. Literally, the max of it is you go one more inch, you have to put a um, red light on it. You have to because it's gonna interfere with it. It's at the height of planes,
Yeah.
so they have to. So literally, they were like, we're gonna make this as high as we can without going, plane level. So
Yeah,
it's
and
crazy.
that and the fact that it was the tallest building in Orange County for like decades,
Yeah,
like probably into the 80s.
yeah.
Orange County had the tallest building, was a mountain thing. And there's a lot of lore to it too. The
Hmm.
basketball court, I think that's kind of like Disney Fandom 101. It's like the
Yes.
first thing you find out,
Yeah.
and
That's
that's
your
what makes
that's
you
your
cool.
that's your inauguration.
Exactly.
Inauguration is the
Um,
basketball court.
yeah. And I think what they did in 2015 with the animatronics is was
They're
really
so good.
good.
They're so good
It's
now.
such a
It's
good,
very
yeah.
terrifying, and the
Mhm.
fact that I read Disney Parks Twitter like recently. I think it was TikTok. It was on TikTok. They just had a cast member just chilling there with Harold and he was like swiping and everything. And I'm like, dude, that's I even with the lights on, like all the lights on, broad daylight, I'd still be terrified to be next to that thing.
Yeah. I saw they did a thing at Imagineering, like they made a video of it just in testing
Hmm.
when it's sitting in a warehouse, and you're like, this is horrifying. Just it sitting here with like half of its mechanics just exposed.
Yeah,
It was something.
it's terrifying. It's really well done though. It's so good. The
Hmm.
hair on it. I mean, he's definitely he's been through it a little bit,
He's
a little bit.
yeah.
Um,
He's that last one on I think it's the Fantasyland side
mhm.
where he just looks like he's given up and he's just like
Yeah, where
slumped
he's
over.
like kind of like he's just like you to
He's
get him like looking up, just like oh, I never noticed I was up there. You know,
yeah.
like
He's
it's
like
like
it's like somebody in the morning has to wake him up and say, Harold, do it for the kids. They want to see you.
it's yeah, he's been hurting lately, but it is so good. Nothing's gonna compare to Everest though. I mean that Yeti,
If it moved,
if it
nothing would compare
moved,
to it
if it moved, that thing's
because you
terrifying though too.
it is terrifying and it's giant. I mean, it I don't it I think it's like
Well,
20.
actually, technically, he's the Yeti. Actually, technically, because I think
Actually, it's a she.
oh
According to Joe
she,
Rody, it's a she. It's
that's,
Betty.
you're right.
It's
Yeah,
Betty the Yeti.
yeah, she's technically a Yeti, and Harold's actually an abominable snowman.
True. Yeah.
There is a difference, but
There's a difference.
everybody just calls it.
Oh,
It's easy to call it a Yeti. So
the Yeti. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, if you want to talk about, yeah, Expedition Everest does what Matterhorn
wishes it
probably
could do.
did in 1950. Yeah. And probably in 1959, that was like the level that people were willing to
Yeah,
kind of go. Although, you know, they didn't have the Yeti and stuff back in those days.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, Expedition Everest is a good ride. It's the great successor to it.
yeah. I would like to definitely ride that. That's on my list, but I think that's actually found. Oddly enough, these mountains, I think that's cracking too. I think the foundation's cracking too.
Well, that's why Betty broke.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why
I think she
Disco
was the
get
reason. I think.
she is yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, if you've ever seen, there's a Discovery Channel made a documentary about the making of that attraction,
Yes, I
and they
actually watched that one
showed.
too.
Oh, did you watch? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that was like such a thing for me as a kid was watching that, and they talk about how big this thing is and the power that is needed to move that animatronic was like a jet engine
Yeah.
power. Like that's what level you'd have to do. So no wonder the darn thing, and it's cantilevered over the track.
Yeah.
So this big, I don't know how many tons it weighed, moving like that constantly, yeah, no wonder it broke.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think it was only on for a couple months, right? If that,
Hmm.
not even a couple months,
Yeah,
probably
not even. Yeah, it was probably
a couple
probably
weeks. I
4 months.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so that's crazy. That's a good number one. I respect that. That's a good number one.
So I think I know what yours is then. 'Cause
Do you want to reveal it then? Do you want to?
no. It's your
Uh,
number one. Oh,
it is. It's Rise. It's Rise.
yeah.
Um, I love Star Wars, man. I love Star Wars, and all the reasons I listed when you told me it was your number three. It is just a phenomenal ride,
And it's probably the best Star Wars ride.
hands down,
Yeah.
hands down.
I think it's better than Star Tours as far as like giving you
Yes,
the feels of
yes.
of what a Star Wars experience should be.
I mean, if it's that queue still is insufferable. Let me tell you, that queue is pretty long and pretty cool the first time. Second time, you're like, okay, I just want to get on.
I think it's on purpose. I think they purposely
Well, they
either
knew.
for budgetary.
They knew.
Hmm, yeah.
They knew for sure. Um, so yeah, but no, I mean it's just it's a phenomenal ride. It's great. It's first of its kind, really. Um, and I mean, again, the scale is just massive. The scale is movie level.
Hmm. It is. Yeah.
And I mean, they do such a good job. Like literally, when you get on off the ship, you forget you're at Disneyland. You forget you're at a park, man. You're like, I'm literally somewhere else,
Hmm.
and it's insane. Like, I just can't. It's just I'm excited for the Avengers. If the Avengers new Avengers ride is anything like this, it was
That'd
Avengers
be a
Campus
good.
will be redeemed. Well, Avengers Campus
Yeah.
will be redeemed.
Well, I think that was the case for Galaxy's Edge because I think people were like, "Oh, Galaxy's Edge is kind of a dud," and then this
Yeah,
opened and
Smuggler's Run was cool.
it was
Platinum
cool
Millennium
for a
Falcon
minute.
is like
Yeah,
that's like a dream of any Star Wars fan for sure. But yeah, I mean, once you get in Rise Resistance, and it's fun too because I know not everyone likes the sequel trilogy. I don't mind it. I actually enjoy it. Um, but the fact that so many Star Wars fans who hate the sequel trilogy love that ride, I just think it's so funny. But
yeah.
yeah, it's just so well done, and the animatronics for both of those rides actually, Hondo and Naka
Oh,
and
yeah.
Smuggler's Run. If the first time you get on that, I don't know, but how you the first time I got on it and his back was turned, we thought that was a real person until it turned around.
Oh, in the when he's on the
Yeah,
bridge.
when you're on the bridge in the
Yeah.
pre-show,
Hmm.
we thought it was a real person because it moves so fluid. Like it's so fluid.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
movements and everything. We thought it was a real person until it turned around. We're like, oh, Jesus, it's an animatronic.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like it's
The
like wow.
only the only negative of that entire ride is the scene where uh you know oh geez, why am I blanking on his name?
Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kylo Ren
At the
is
ending.
at the ending and he goes,
Yes.
"Whoa."
Yeah, that is the only. Yeah,
And
that is the only negative. But
you're like you could have I don't and honestly you're like I don't know what you could have done
no.
because it just had to be that, like
Yeah.
but well, we would have been upset if it was a screen. So
Well, it
I'm
is if
glad
it's
that
broken.
if it's broken, yeah.
Yeah.
But well, then it's even worse because then he goes out like a chump, and his ship just flips this
It
way.
is, but it is so cool. The AT-AT scene
Hmm.
is just. I mean, you can't say anything like bad about it because it's just
And
wow.
when they do the blasters, and there's that
The
like
effect
you
right
look
away.
and you see the effect, and you're like, is that 3D projected? What are they?
Yeah,
What that's a
it's because they
yeah.
do the same thing with making minis from right away. It's like when the screen like blows up and everything. You're like, dude,
Hmm.
how do you do this?
That's that Disney magic
It really is, and
working. It is.
it's
Yeah.
great, man. It's the whole reason we love Disneyland.
It really is. Yeah, it puts you in some place it, it's it's the next level of entertainment right there. Going into a physical environment and
And
going
forgetting
and
of
mm,
everything, yeah.
yeah.
Because I mean,
I think
it's great.
it is. Those are I think these were some good good list. This was a
Top
good
tens, man.
list.
Yeah,
It was, yeah.
it
I
surprised
mean,
me though, for sure. I mean, like thinking that I knew what your top 10 was gonna be was just like I was like, but like hearing it now, it's okay. That does make sense. Like,
yeah.
yeah, you're, and I'm like, but yeah, you definitely surprised me. Number 10. I did not think Lost Wonderland was gonna be in that at all.
Really? Yeah, you no Fantasyland except for Matterhorn. I don't think any
No,
Fantasyland for you.
I thought about doing Peter Pan. I really did. I
Hmm.
really thought if anything was gonna make it in there, it's Peter Pan. We'll say that's top. That's 11. We'll say that's 11.
11,
It's
11.
Peter Pan.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it almost made it in there. It was either that or Haunted Mansion, and I was like, I'll put Haunted Mansion because I go on that more because it's not as long as Peter
Right. Yeah,
Pan
yeah. What
consistently.
I'm
So
yeah, it is pretty good. What I'm surprised is no Star Tours wasn't on either one of our lists.
I think was so I think Star Tours would have been definitely in the top 5, but Rise just overtook it. Rise
Hmm.
became what Star Tours is for me.
Yeah, it definitely did. Yeah,
But that's still a good ride. That's still a great ride to go on though. It's always short,
yeah.
you know.
That's true. It's a pretty easy ride. I mean, it's a walk on most
Yeah,
times.
most times, and
So,
even then it's you wait in the queue for like maybe like 10 minutes, and
mhm.
it's a cool queue. It's still a cool queue. I liked it. The refurb that they did with it, when it
Oh
became
yeah, no,
the
yeah,
new
I love that.
adventures and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was definitely really cool. So, yeah, no,
Yeah,
I think our lists are solid though. They're good.
yeah. I think I think this is good. I mean, there really is not. I don't think there's really a bad ride.
No, well,
Jumping
I mean, if you're
Jellyfish.
in,
Oh no, Goofy Sky School. We decided
yeah, I didn't in
was
Disneyland
the
probably. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd say that's it's either a tie between that and Mr. Toad's, in my opinion.
Okay, well that's a discussion for
But
another
I
day.
think, but I think we can collectively agree the worst ride in all of Disney history is Figment, Journey of
Yeah,
Imagination.
Journey into yeah.
I
Which
think,
yeah, Journey into Your Imagination.
yeah.
Bad. That's bad.
That
I'd
would
rather
be-
ride the Golden Zephyr or something.
yes,
Uh,
10 times over. I'd rather ride Snow White 10 times over.
oh, that's yeah. Well, that you think Snow White's scary. Just wait until you
Dinosaur.
see Figment
Oh,
in a skunk costume farting on you.
yeah, that is nightmare fuel for sure.
Yeah, definitely is.
But,
Oh, Eric Idle Moon, the moon at the end.
oh
That's scary
yes,
too.
yes,
That's
yes.
that's scarier than the witch. I'll tell you that much.
Uh, I'm sure people in
Oh,
Florida are probably like, they get it. They get
they get it. Yeah,
it.
they're like, oh, look, the Disneyland people are laughing at us, and
Yeah.
they've got nothing to come back. There's nothing like that over here. I don't think so.
Nothing comes close to that, no.
No, no,
So,
no.
well, we'll see.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the park's ever changing, so we'll see.
sure, yeah. We'll see. San Francisco, we'll see. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we had N
that's
negative, huh?
no, no. I mean, I think it's good. Disneyland's got some great attractions. The fact that it was difficult for us, I think,
Yes,
is very good.
this actually took a long time. Honestly,
Hmm.
top 5 were kind of easy, but it was difficult getting up there. There's so much you can put in, and again, a top 10 list is so subjective to any Disney fan.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because I mean, each attraction means something different to each people. So,
Right. Yeah.
that's evidence with us, obviously. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think this was a solid list. We're definitely going to do this again with
Yeah. This is
dining.
dining.
Uh,
Yeah, that might be. Yeah, because now I don't know about you. We've eaten it. I've eaten it pretty much every place. I
Yeah,
think every
almost. I've almost eaten it every, with
almost.
the
Yeah.
exception of like Blue Bayou and like high end stuff. For sure, high end stuff like almost every place. Yeah,
Everything. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
have
I think I
to.
haven't.
I'll have to try it. Maybe I'll try to. Maybe we'll try to do that, and then we can actually kind of collectively do it. Probably
Yeah, that
either
sounds
that
good.
or we'll revisit it again. But we'll definitely do another top 5 though,
Yeah,
and
sounds
then
good.
probably also do a. We're also gonna do a um I said we said top 10, but I think we'll shorten it to top 5. Top 5 attractions that we would like to see become a reality if we have an
Yeah.
idea for.
Hmm.
So that'll also be another one.
Yeah. Which I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
Those blue sky things. I hear those are real fun to do.
Yeah.
People enjoy
Yeah.
people enjoy the blue sky stuff.
So,
So well,
yeah.
we ready to put this one to
Yes, we are.
bed?
I'm
All
ready
right.
to go
Do you
to
want-
bed.
Yeah, me too. This was, but it was fun. I'm glad we had a lot
Yes.
of stuff to talk about. So, do you want to give the socials and stuff where
Yeah.
they can reach us in the meantime?
You can always follow us at Twitter at Way of Magic. On Instagram is Way of Magic _95. If you prefer to listen to this podcast, or watch this podcast, we are on YouTube at Way of Magic, and you can listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Anchor. So if you'd like to listen to any of those, you can go ahead and listen to us on your way to work, on your car trip, or whatever, on your way to Disneyland. So. And if you prefer to look at our face, I don't know why, but if you prefer to, you can go to YouTube, and there's a video version of this where you see us. So, yeah.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and tell a friend, and get them over here and see the different way of looking at the parks, which is what we aim to do,
Yeah.
and all the stuff that we got coming up too. We've got a show that we're gonna be working on later on.
Yeah, very soon.
So yeah. So, alrighty, folks. Well, for Armando, I'm Steve, and we'll see you next time on the Way of Magic podcast. See you later.